Second.
trailers. Yeah, we got a little bit till they get in here. Yeah, we don't need that stuff. What we need is more Devil Flyer. Hey, Shadowhawk,
Good morning, Rick. Or good
Devil
afternoon.
Flyer. We're going to talk about one of your favorite subjects a little bit later. Kaiju. Yeah, I did make
Woohoo!
this a 4 o'clock shadow. I didn't mean to. I was just like, trying to keep up with the numbering.
I
Uh,
know, I know. That
number
I like
358
it.
today. I just wanted to make sure I got the numbering right. Made it a 4 o'clock shadow, and it's just noon here. It's not even
It's
noon yet. Hell.
4 o'clock somewhere.
All right. Well, I may erase that and put that on the, make a 4 o'clock shadow because we're going to do a 4 o'clock shadow. It's Saturday. It's the weekend. We're off the chain and we're looking to launch Devil Flyer on
Woohoo!
the 30th in just a few days. Yeah, we got to get some work done on that. Let's play the
8
trailer
more
on
days.
the. Everyone missed that. No one saw that except on replay. So let's play it again.
Yep.
Calling all faithful, all charter members.
Woohoo!
Yeah. As you know, Shadowhawk, this is going to be a fun ride indeed.
Oh,
Can't
yes,
wait.
indeed.
Let naysayers beware. It's going to be a fun ride, and we're going to have some fun in comics again.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
like to
it's
hear.
going to be fun. We're going to, put out the best product we can as quickly as we can, and go on to the next thing.
There you
I,
go.
I, I'm chomping at the bit to get this one done, go on to the next. Uh, After a
I
while,
love it.
it's like, damn, I can't keep up with this old man. You got that right. So don't even try. Well, you can try, but and I might even back to your project, but I'm out to leave everybody in the dust, and in a nice way. Competition, you know, competition helps, right? I mean, EVS he comes out with a box, so
Competition
other
is
people
good.
start coming out with a box, and all in tier, and then innovation, sketch cards, the Diaz brothers. I mean, you got to be an innovator and think out of the box. You know,
Standees, figures,
sorry
toys.
EVS,
Look
but
at
you
look
do. You
where
have
we're
to think
going.
out of the box, and
That's right. I
you
was
know,
just watching Pedro and Matt Barr a little bit earlier, and they were talking seriously about putting together an animation studio. So we got that going in CG. I mean, there's
all
all
right,
kinds of
yeah.
stuff going on, man. There's a
Oh, there's
lot of
all kind of
positives,
that we don't even know. There's some tight-lipped
lot of
people.
positives out there.
Yeah, and there's people been working on projects like Dario, several books, and when he's ready to hit, bam, it's going to be there. I don't know if my wallet will stretch that far, uh, and I don't know if it'll be anything I want to buy. But he's definitely, you know, building it slowly, and really that's the
Yeah.
best way to go. Shadowhawks is build a campaign slowly, whether you have it
Well,
over
I
on
mean,
Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic, or
if
like
if
your
nothing
own.
else, he's generating interest, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, I do. Yeah, there's one thing I do agree with Malin on. Well, maybe two mummy slaves, but uh, uh, build
and
your
wolf
channel
milk.
slowly, build your base. That always makes sense. Get to know people, get to know your customer base. There might be a old, they call me a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm a first year Gen Xer, which I don't even identify as that. I just hate that they categorize us and put us in a class system. Oh, we got a camera swap here. Look at this, folks. We got to
You,
run.
you know what I'm watching in honor of Kaiju and Cowboys today?
Godzilla.
Whoop. Don't say it while it's on screen. Yeah, Godzilla
Oh,
versus Gigan, and it's
okay.
got
I
the
just took a
subtitles.
stab. I just,
Yeah,
saw this thing that could have been,
it they just showed a scene where Godzilla's talking to the little, what's his name, Ankylosaurus, and they had
oh
subtitles
yeah.
for it. It was great. You actually got to see their conversation.
He's oh, that's cool.
I'd never
He's
seen
the
that before.
spiky one. Is that on TV? I mean, is that
Yeah,
like
it's on Tubi, dude. You can watch it.
oh, it's on Tubi. Well, I'm gonna have to check
Yeah,
that out then. Yeah,
I
definitely.
decided to have it going in the background in tribute to Frankie. So I
Yeah.
got some kaiju motivation.
Now, if you like Kaijus did not make it into the first Devil Flyer, but as you know, there will be. Well, no, it did. I actually did have a Kaiju in there, just a cameo of a new character. His
Oh,
first
yeah,
real
that's
appearance
right.
will be,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
huh? What?
I said, yeah, you technically, yeah, you did, didn't
I did, yeah, a cameo, yeah, right at the end of Devil Flyer, the
you?
next
Yeah.
chapter. I'm treating it. They're standalone stories, but there is a will be continue with all this. I guarantee you. I've never
Yeah.
seen this, but I want one. Uh, Wonder Woman's Hot Wheels. Why didn't they do this years ago, back in the 70s?
Oh, wow.
A
Y-
plastic, transparent, invisible plane, which is more of a jet. I don't know, but
Yeah. But yeah, I'd have picked that up for sure.
hell yeah, I want one. I'm probably gonna go on eBay here and, I would say that it's very small. I can't tell for sure, but I bet you, my guess would be Garcia Lopez artwork. He does a lot of their branding,
Yeah,
a
probably.
lot of their artwork like that. So that would
Well,
have been
dude,
a fun
you
piece.
remember when we were kids and they first started coming out with the translucent toys? Like I think the Micronauts were like one of the first
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, I've
And
got some Ben
oh,
10
dude,
toys
I
like that
love
too.
that stuff. Yeah.
I do too. I'm gonna do a transparent toy. You wait and see. Uh
Oh yeah. I got the
uh
translucent Johnny Phantasm, the green
Oh,
one.
I
Freaking
love
awesome.
that. That's why I like acetate covers. It's almost like an animation cell. Remember those comics you used to get
Oh
with
yeah.
the polybagged with the animation cells? That was
Yep, yep.
wonderful.
Oh, I got
Uh,
a bunch of those. Yeah,
they even did
yeah,
Ninja
what was it?
Turtles like that.
Spider-Man back in the day was doing that.
Yeah, they did
And
Ninja Turtles like that too.
oh, really? I didn't get those.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. And
I would
Spider-Man,
like
yeah,
to
I've
have
had
those.
some of those. When I bought out that comic book shop, I got some of those issues that had, I think. Uh, I have some in my collection, I know. Uh, yeah, I mean, and this is the way to do it. If you look at the numbering, it says one of one. They didn't do like a whole series because, they could have done the original they could have done the original propeller plane and all through the years, which would have been interesting. But, one and done. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like it. Well, we got started, right on time, and
Yeah, we did.
we're still waiting on Frankie and Matt Blair. Uh,
Oh,
and we'll
I'm
wait till
sorry, I
4 o'clock
couldn't.
if we
And
have
Matt,
to, because this is the 4 o'clock shadow, apparently.
there you go. Apparently, we're locked in.
As long as Shadowhawks and even if Shadowhawks uh
Yeah.
phone, yeah, it's such a hard word, phone, he overheats or undercharges, we will do it one way or the
We
other.
will
Here
persevere.
is
Hey,
Batman,
somebody's in the chat. Tree Goblin, hail.
Tree Goblin in the house. He's usually
Oh,
out
dude,
from
yeah, I saw
underneath.
this earlier. The Alex Ross Batman.
Yeah, number 900. But then you look at the numbering and it says 135. Eh,
What the fuck?
yeah,
Huh?
again, messing with the numbering. It's supposed to be 900, but it says 135. And this is
Okay.
from years ago. I'm sure it's not current,
Yeah,
that current.
yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
current,
a
but not
great
that current.
Batman, though, man. I just love that image.
Yeah. Ross can, kick it out.
Hmm. I love outro.
You like Doctor Weird. I like excuse me. Uh,
Dr. Lee?
you like Doctor Weird. Big Bang is always coming out with some Doctor Weird. They're sticking
Oh,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
They're sticking with that character in their universe. I always like Big Bang comics. Actually, their initial run of Big Bang comics, and then they was kind of short, and then they had another initial run that was lengthier, 30 something issues. Uh, Worked in some of the image characters on the cover and in the stories, like uh, Savage Dragon. He might have been the only one, but there was Doctor Weird here, which was a Jim Starlin cover. It looks like
Yeah.
they're coloring his costume a little differently here, but maybe not. I can't remember. I think this
Uh,
might be Ultraman. I can't remember what he's called, but I do like their stuff. And it's good artwork, you know. I mean, for a comic,
oh, yeah.
it's really nice. Big Bang Comics, but those on that lengthy run of 30 something issues, when you get down to the latter issues, they're selling about 3,000 copies.
Oh, wow.
I collected all those. They started out still a low initial run, maybe 6,000, maybe more than that. I can't remember. It's in a price guide. The comic book
Yeah. But I mean,
uh
still very scarce just to start
yeah,
with.
very scarce. And then when you get down non-existent, I mean, in comics, when you get down to about 3,000 copies, that's not a lot. And what I'm saying is, you know, like, let's pick a really obscure character as an example. Cyber Frog from Hall of Heroes. Nobody ever heard of him. And so if you've got some original Cyber Frog, all it takes is a little bump, you know, somebody picking up that IP and doing something with it, and this, you know, and it becoming popular, which will probably never ever happen. And then bam, you got, you know, nice collectibles. If you know, that's the stuff I like to collect. I know Greater Mercury, Silver Wolf Comics, in one of their letter page, they said, "Yeah, we're going to do 350 copies." Well, I want that book. I want as many
Oh,
copies of
wow.
that book as I can get, a corner of the market,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's, you know, if it ever takes off, which, you know, a lot of people treat that as dollar being material, and then the copies that are out there and not treasured are all beat up, bent up, and whatever.
Hmm.
And to find a high grade, just to find a copy, 350 in the world of over 8 billion people and growing, that's nothing, you know. And I just have to chuckle at these CGers that say, well, I'm going to burn my extra copies, or destroy my extra copies, or I'm going to I'm going to do away with my surplus copies in some way and keep it really limited. Dude, it already is limited. You know, it's
Yeah.
your property to do what you want with. But to me, that's, you're going to need those copies. You know, take Uncle E's advice, who is taking Mr. Walking Dead's advice. Always keep your #1 issue in print. Now, do they mean originals? Sure. After you sell all the originals, you bought me a copy of Skull #1 of #4, I think it was the first 8. Horror Mike turned us on to that.
Um,
You have a Gable
I think
penny shot. John
yeah,
Malin
yeah.
would not approve. Well, I know, you know, but I
John Malin would not approve.
let's
But
keep it
hey,
limited. Yeah, you'll keep it so obscure. You'll keep it so obscure. You'll keep it within
I,
CG, whatever.
I
I
love
mean,
I love Malin to death, but I don't agree with him on everything.
Alterna books, getting it out on the stands in the comic shops, whatever, they're still dealing with low numbers. If you have a barcoded newsstand edition of some of those early alternatives, that's going to be mega rare. Even Peter Samedi has said that out of his mouth, uh, and in any kind of condition. So, what I know, I've only been collecting over 50 years, more than people, uh, about 50 years, I guess. Uh, and now we have another great collector, another great.
Since he was
You
just
you
a wee
see,
tyke.
you mentioned Alterna, and he freaking shows up. It's
Oh
Frankie
man,
D.
Frankie!
I
Oh
to-
shit!
I totally. I apologize. I thought it was 1:30. I don't know why in my head I was like,
Hey, it's
my
okay,
head,
Frankie.
my
We
head was
can
down,
spin
and
it.
my head was down, and I was actually working on King Cryptid because I'm going to be working on issue 6, and so I'm just
Oh,
like
bro.
trying to bust stuff out, and then I was like, let me just get up for a second and stretch my legs, and I walked over to my calendar, and it said 1 p.m. I said, oh, I was like, oh shoot. I said, oh man.
Here, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's no stranger to the camera. He might not like to be soloed like this. I know Doc hates it, but look at that vintage 1970s shirt.
Representing. Come on now. Come on. Representing. In the house, man. Gen X did exist.
Frankie,
Gen X does exist.
I'm gonna make you feel good. I'm Billy Tucci's age. I'm 57.
Sounds good to me.
Huh?
Sounds good to me.
It sounds good to you. Yeah, that makes
sounds
you feel
great
young,
to me.
doesn't it?
Oh man, dude, I want your hair color. I want your hair color.
Look, bro, I got more. I got it all around. So you know.
I love that. I love that. That's a sign that you've lived the times, man. You've lived it.
Silver
lived
Fox,
the times.
man. I remember spinner racks. I remember spinner racks.
Yeah.
I remember the good times, the big treasury editions, the small little digests.
Right on.
I remember when comics were booming.
Yes,
that's right.
I did too.
yeah. And in honor
hey Frankie, did you see the little promo I dropped earlier on Instagram?
I didn't.
What did you drop?
It was a picture of the King Cryptid sketch cover on a Blood Realm that you did, and I won it on the alternate auction from you a while back.
No, man, I have to check that out, man.
Yeah, dude. It's one
of
my favorite pieces, bro.
I gotta be honest with you. I've been hard at work, man. This year,
because
somebody put. Yeah,
I've been trying to get this guy on to have a good time with us since December, folks. I first contacted him back in December, and he said maybe sometime in January, February, March.
Yeah, I guess me saying the art flow so much, it's the tap's off now. It's like I'm like putting holes in the dam, man.
I know it is a balancing act of do I promote, do I have
the thing about it is just the discipline. Like it's. For me, it's important that I get the job done. I got to get the job done. I'm one of those people where I'm old school. I shake your hand. We agree on it. I get the job done. I can't make excuses. So if that means I can't go play with the fellas or whatever, then I can't play right now. That's how my mom brought me up. You do your work first, and then you can play later.
And like Steve Ditko said, and I share Steve Ditko's birthday. We were born on the same day. So was my dog. November 2nd is Steve Ditko's birthday, and that's my birthday. Has been for 57 years. Shadowhawk the other day almost had me convinced I was 58. I was like doing the math, like, no, I'm 57. I don't want to lose you. But
I'm chasing right behind you, though. I'm going to be 53 this year, so.
Oh, good.
I'm right behind you.
Well, you're the youngest on the panel. How's that feel?
Nice. Hey, man, I feel great. As soon as 50 kicked over, I was like, man, it's the half century mark, man. That feels great, man.
I don't know about you, but the 40s were that middle life crisis for me. Say about 43 to 47, I was slogging. Now I gained some weight during that time, but it was the testosterone, whatever. The levels were like, I've got more energy in my 50s than I did in my 40s, bro.
Wow. I'll tell you right now.
And this will make you feel good. Statistically speaking, in your 50s are your earning years. Your highest earning years are in people's 50s. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the funny thing.
Earn more money.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing. Most of my career has been in the more corporate level, where I worked in advertising. Mm-hmm. That was my big money maker. I did some production stuff, studio stuff. So that's why I was making a ton of money. That's what kept me out of comics. Because I knew a bunch of cats that were doing comics, but every time I would go up there, I was like, well,
they're not making any money.
I was like, I went to school to be a commercial illustrator, to work in the art industry. Right. And all my teachers are like, you got to make money. And so that's what my mind was. I was like, I like comics, but this isn't going to pay my bills.
I've seen your auctions. You still like to earn money. I'll start this one at $200.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I had teachers that were just like, they cut that. They were like, they didn't believe in that whole starving artist crap. They literally, my first day going in for a test, they were like, we don't believe in that.
Job. Yeah.
And my teachers were they all worked in the industry. They worked in toys. They worked in just doing everything. And they were just like, get paid for your skills. Don't accept anything less than that. And I walked out of it with that mentality, and I never stopped looking back.
You're harder to get than EVS.
Who
on this show?
Really,
Uncle E?
Well, I don't consider. Well, see,
I don't know. He's never been on here, but you're.
I think I think the funny thing about it, maybe. Yeah, I think the funny thing about it is that it's like, apples and oranges. Where he's in the comic book industry, so I can see where like people, because I was like, most people don't know about me. Like I've worked on various TV commercials that no one had never, that probably seen 1,000 of them, but you don't know that because that's just how it is. But he's worked on Green Lantern and stuff, so of course the audience is going to be like, "Oh my God, oh hey," and all that excitement. I get it, man.
Profile stuff.
I get it. Yeah, I grew up with that whole idea of like hierarchy. Like you just can't walk in a room and be like, "I'm the man." You got to earn that. You got to be like, "Yo," you got to go up the ladder. So I do respect that. So I go, "All right, man." Maybe Frankie, one day he'll drop in.
Where I'm coming from. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
This is a chance of a lifetime. I got to show off. I got to flex. I got to show the color guy.
That's nice, man.
Color guy.
That's nice.
Avengers #4.
Oh, wow.
That's how dedicated I am to collecting.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that right there shows you right there on literally in your hand. You're holding it. You're holding history right there. That's history.
And most
as a collector, I love that stuff. I love the history, man. I think that's one of the problems that I run in with so many collectors, because I'm a collector too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I'm gonna price it. I try to be reasonable, but I'm a collector too. I know the game.
Yeah.
Right. And I know what this is.
Got you on the kaiju, because Shadowhawk is now what are you watching, Shadowhawk?
Godzilla versus Gigan as we speak.
Right on, my man. That's classic.
Yeah.
You must have lost. You must have lost it with me when they just dropped that Godzilla times Kong trailer.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh man, it's a great time for our
I'm
fans.
loving the new Godzilla.
Fantastic, great time, man. Yeah, it's a great time. We got to represent. This is our time. Our time for the Kaiju revolution.
Because
we don't know how. We don't know how long it's going to last. That's my whole feeling. I'm like, we don't know how long it's going to last.
Some of that Bronze Age, 80s goodness back into comics as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of younger guys that are doing the 90s stuff. They want to bring that into comics and that sensibility. Well, I'm a little bit older than that. I want to bring the Bronze Age, the 80s stuff into comics, because that's, the X-Men Claremont and John Byrne and Frank Miller and Terry Austin and all, Rubenstein, all those great inkers and artists.
And I think you're going to see it. I honestly think that we're right now at a point where we're going to get 80s, we're going to get 70s, 80s, and then 90s. And it's all going to be sort of in there. And then now it's going to be up to the customer, the reader, to define what they like.
And I've been told just my friend, my artist that was on Devil Flyer, and it's going to launch here, should launch the 30th, nothing barring something happening. Of the month, at the end of the month, they said, I was really surprised, but it makes sense to me. They're like, that looks like Golden Age artwork. So you're going to see a mixture of everything.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Golden Age, Silver Age. There's even Atomic Age type stuff.
Yes, we have an art form.
I had more fun writing the.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, it is. It's a unique
have an art
American
form
art form.
Yes.
Like jazz.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here to throw some shade on manga, because I was into anime back in the 80s and 70s. I was into animes. I still love it, but I'm not going to throw shade to be on like Western art and sort of knock down Western art compared to manga.
Reading. At least they're
That's
reading.
It. Amen. Let's get them reading, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But, till the crowdfunding thing, the distribution, nobody can accidentally go in and go, oh, look at this, and discover a brand new universe. A thought. I know it made me a reader. A spinner rack made me a reader.
Well, I think one of the things that we're struggling right now, I can say for us with Kaijus and Cowboys and any other person doing Kaiju stuff, is that we're going up against the legacy guys. Because people in the fandom's mind, a lot of the fandom's thinking Godzilla, Power Rangers, and Ultraman. And our thing is that we're trying to combat that, to say, yeah, you can still, don't get rid of that. We love Godzilla. I love Ultraman, and I love all that other stuff. But hey, guess what? Look who's over on the other side of the field over there. Just shine a light. We're there. It's good to bring new stuff in so we can keep the cycle going, because that's how comic books were. Stan Lee, those guys, they all brought something new. When after the golden age and going into the silver age, it was just new stuff. They had to come in with new things to sort of pump things up. And so that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
Right on, right on.
Hail Chico.
And that was a thrill of a lifetime meeting for me to meet Stan Lee, howbeit ever so brief.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. I got to talk to him on a radio show. I never got to meet him live.
Oh yeah, he talked to him on a radio show, man.
Yeah, I still got a little cassette recording. From back in the 90s.
How was it? He got to interact with him.
Oh, dude, I had all these questions in my mind and everything, right? I was ready to go.
And then you fanned out.
Oh, dude, the dude comes on, he goes, "You're on with Stan," and I'm like, and Stan's like Excelsior or whatever, and I just locked up, dude. I was like, "Oh, wow, Mr. Lee, nice to meet you."
I say
it was horrible.
My moment was with Herb Trimpe. Because he drew the Shogun Warriors and Godzilla. Right. And I met him off and on, and so I met him up in New York, and I got to talk to him a little bit. But then he gave me his phone number, because I told him how much it impacted me. I was like, yeah, this impacted my life, like your work that you did. And then eventually, before he actually passed away, I got to see him again. I did some artwork for him. And I told him, I said, you were my dad, man. and he was like, wow. Cool, he looked at me and he's like, wow, thank you. And I said, no, seriously, this is the reason why I chose the career that I did, because of you, the stuff that you did, you and Doug Lineage. And I think you need to know that. And he was like, wow. Awesome. And he just was like, well, just keep doing and doing what you're doing. And
when I got a chance to interview Steve Rude, we talked about passing the torch, from one generation to the next. That's what we have to do in comics. And there's been some stumbles and falls in everything, and that's happened in comics too. But there's still some greats out there that can still pass the torch, but who's going to go to? I think the person that really pushed it, in my opinion, Neil Adams, who sadly passed away last year. I believe it was last year, along with Tim Sale and George Perez, a bunch of some other greats. Yeah. George Perez got me.
Oh man,
his artwork got me into comics.
The nicest guy,
But Alex Ross, he took on sort of, I think, the mantle of realism in comics, because Neil Adams interjected the next step of realism, and I think that Alex Ross kind of picked it up from him. I've always kind of thought that in a way.
Yeah.
And that's only one. I love Bill Sienkiewicz's, not all his stuff. Sure. When he was getting, out of his Neil Adams, because he was a Neil Adams mimicker at first, but there were a lot of mimickers at first. And in fact, they were told, draw like Jack Kirby, Rich Buckler, Barry Windsor Smith, all those
Frank Bruner, the guys like that. I mean,
we're told to draw like Kirby, and eventually they kind of came into their own style. And I love Barry Windsor Smith's stuff now that he's kind of Machine Man in the early 80s when it came out.
Yeah,
that was really, for me, he leveled up. That doesn't look like his old stuff at all.
Which is so funny, because I grew up with John Byrne, Herb Trimpe, and those kind of people, where when I draw my style is not about realism. I'm about pure escapism. Right. I'm about having fun. I want people, when they open up something that I've done, that is fun. I'm not expecting you to be like the real one. Like if I draw a gun, the gun's not going to look like a real gun.
If you look at Sienkiewicz's stuff, what I'm saying is it needs to be treated more like an art form. And even though I didn't always appreciate a lot of the wild stuff he was doing within New Mutants or whatever it was, I still appreciated that he was trying to push the boundaries of what was acceptable comic book artwork. I like that. And
all right, well, here's a quick question though, because you just brought up something really interesting. Do you feel that because of the marketing? Because again, remember, like in my mind, when I grew up, comic books were a cheap form of entertainment. When I went to the spinner rack, it was like 25 cents, 35 cents, and it was for kids. Right. And I think that in a certain degree, during the 90s, the age of the 90s, kids got pushed aside. That's why most of the kids you see now
they're not older. Before then.
But most of the kids that you see now, most of those kids go to manga. That's why it doesn't shock me. Like I've gone to a few cons, and most of those cons, I've had these kids come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna show you my portfolio," and I see manga art. So you're
going after the kid market. You're going for it to be fun. Adults and kids.
Yeah, of course. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Let's be honest. How long is us old heads going to be hanging around? How many old heads are dropping? That's not sustainable as business. Old heads drop. I mean, people get sick. People get finances that are wrong. So especially the thing is that you want to keep the cycle going. So you need kids. We need generations. I need to have a kid that's 10 years old, like the way I was, and then grow up loving comic books and then keep investing into the comic books, because that's how the life goes. But if you're in your 40s and you go, okay, I'm gonna get into comics, now it's like, okay, now we're looking at a time thing going. So how long are you gonna be in the comics? How healthy are you? Are you healthy enough? Are you gonna be able to last another like 50 years? I mean, let's keep it real. It's a business too, man. And that's one of the things I respected about Stan Lee. Stan Lee never stopped looking at business. He went in there. He was like, he was fun and whatever.
He was always trying to push it in TV, movies, anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he got to see it before he passed away. He lived so long, he actually got to be in a lot of those movies and see his dream realized that, maybe not an art form. I don't think in America it'll always it'll be maybe diehard collectors.
Stan learned at the knee of yoga.
Yeah.
It's all about
it always goes back to art is subjective.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down. So all art forms to me could be art, can be like something where you look at something like Jack Kirby stuff. Jack Kirby stuff to me is no different than what Bill Sienkiewicz put out. It's just a different form. But but the people who are in the decision making over these comic books, if they're just saying, well, I just want people to be like Bill Sienkiewicz, that's not good. That's not good for the industry.
Don't look at it. A lot of people don't look at it this way, but if you go in an art museum, that's our modern day mythology, and it's the same thing with comics, where it's our modern day mythology. These are our heroes, our villains, our pathos, this is Homer put in a book.
Most definitely.
I needed that.
But it's also entertainment though. And that's the thing that we're losing so much, because people are trying to go in there and they're trying to do these big novels, and they're forgetting that this is entertainment. What brought me into comic books was that it was just fun. It was escapism. I can pick up a comic book, read it, and be reading about all these wild stories and stuff, and then be, oh, here's the real world. Now I gotta go back to my homework or whatever, a job or whatever. So it's like we have to get back to that.
What they need is some Kirby crackle. That's what they need. They need some.
Is that what they need? That cure. I'll admit that cures everything. Just if I can't think of anything else, put some Kirby crackle down.
I want to show you.
Or anything, Frankie,
I was probably.
Oh, what's up, Shadowhawk?
Well, that's
you got
not
anything
Shadowhawk.
you
That's
show
White
us,
Nipple.
Frankie, that you're working on, Kaijus?
Oh man. Well, tonight's going to be the auction. I mean, I can show you the stuff I'm going to bring to the auction. Sure, there you go.
Oh, you got an alternative auction tonight?
Auction preview.
Yeah. These are the pages I did for Legends of Log.
The Scarab.
So that's going up for auction.
Wait, let me take a look at that. Wait.
There you go.
I got you really in big. Oh, wow.
You know what I'm noticing? People are loving the fact that here. Let's see if I can do this better.
Oh,
people
it's the loving. Hey, I know you'll get this reference. It's the Bio Beast.
Isn't that Peace Creature? The bog? The Bio Beast.
Yeah, the Bio Beast was in Incredible Hulk and had two heads.
Oh,
he was yellow. He was yellow.
Oh, really? Oh man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Herb Trimpe drew him. Hell yeah.
Oh man. Well, see again.
I thought for sure you get that one.
Well, again, let me just rephrase: Herb Trimpe, Shogun Warriors, and Godzilla.
Yeah,
I saw some of his Hulk stuff, but I'm not gonna front. I wasn't a huge into the Hulk stuff. Yeah,
right.
Oh, he even did Ghost Rider. I've got a Ghost Rider piece by him.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Well, I guess people are starting to love the fact that I'm doing like the old school, putting the special effects in.
That's Log and Bird. That's Log and Bird.
That's Log.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I might be bringing this up in there too. This is a character sheet.
There's
this is how I do my character sheets and stuff.
I love that. Just the character.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I smell food. Grr. That's you, Shadowhawk, at dinner time.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys art buy? Do you buy art?
Forgive me while I just take a moment to look at all the spray adhesive behind you, and that's my tour. You got a my tour up there?
Hey Rex, you want to put my camera on for a second for
a Muto? Who is it? Wait a sec, I'm missing everything. What's going on?
No.
Well, I thought you had a my tour up behind you. Hanna-Barbera. It's up by your pops.
No, behind all up around here is just like I got mostly robots. That's my robot wall.
Collectibles. Yeah, your Kaijus.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff, man. You gotta surround yourself with them, man. Come on. You gotta have this stuff. This is from Blood Realm.
Of course it is. You can tell. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
The little
there you go.
Geronimo.
Come on, Rex. Love Frankie.
You gotta surround You got to surround yourself by this stuff.
Oh, very nice. See, you got the artwork out. Yeah.
Oh, he got. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute.
Everything that you see on these walls, is all CG or indie creators.
Well done.
All since the middle of 2018.
That's what I'm talking about. That's amazing. That makes my heart. It makes my heart happy, man.
Hold up. Hold up.
And there you are. Needs wallpaper.
There you are, my friend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that piece.
He's like, oh yeah, I did that.
you know what's funny? Well, it's so funny because I've drawn so much artwork that it's hard for me. Like when I draw artwork, I just move on to the next one. My brain is shifting on to the next stuff. So I'll have people contact me. They'll be like, "Did you do this?" And I'm like, "I guess." Can I sign it? I don't know.
Frankie,
the best endorsement I can give you. Looks like me.
Does it look good?
It's time for a cartoon. Just for a second. I actually watched this. My whoops, wait a minute.
Whoops.
Maybe I'll get it to come up here right and click the right buttons. This is the opener to Tobor.
Come on. I remember Tobor. That's right.
Do you really?
8-Man.
You do.
Yeah, 8-Man. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I got the new anime too. Oh, that's great, man. That's great stuff.
Oh,
there he is.
That's right. Look at that, dude. Look at that.
Big Kaiju.
They were tripping out back then, man. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing.
That's a copyright-free goatee, right?
And he has like a cigarette for his energy thing. It's a cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why it was canceled, Frankie.
Yeah, I know.
I love this bit when he wraps him up with his tail.
Look at that. That's amazing.
Oh,
this is the earliest cartoon I remember.
Yep.
This is the earliest one I remember as a kid. It was my favorite.
I remember the anime remix, but I never saw the
me too. Yeah, I got that. Well, you know, it's funny that you just said that. The only other cartoon that ever got, I know of there was a few, but remember the Mighty Mouse that came out that was done by
the Ralph Bakshi Mighty Mouse?
Yeah, the Ralph Bakshi. No, was it?
Yeah, dude.
Well, the one where he snorted cocaine. You ever see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. I remember watching that on TV. It was on Channel 7, and I was like, what did I just see? Where he was getting his butt kicked, and he's like, oh my God, I need more power. So he grabs a flower and he crushes it, and he goes, and he's like, I have the might, something like that. And then he goes off and kicks the guy's butt. And I was like, oh wow. And I worked in animation, and so I was like,
that stuff got canceled so fast.
Yeah, they got it through. I mean, applause for getting that stuff through, because man, that was amazing. They'll never show that again. You'll never
ever see
that again.
In the witch's house, and she's chasing him. You don't remember that one? Oh, dude, it's like a classic Bugs Bunny, like with the Winnie the Witch almost. And she
Bugs Bunny. Okay.
Well, it's Mighty Mouse though.
It's Mighty Mouse.
One. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like the classic version of Bugs Bunny and the Witch, but it's Mighty Mouse and the Witch. And it's
I don't recall that one. Oh
I think
man.
that was the last one they actually aired before it got canceled because it was just off the chain, dude.
Those were amazing. Because I love Mighty Mouse, so I was like,
Dude,
that was a great show.
yeah, I love anything Bakshi does, dude. I love.
Oh,
Hey, Marv is in the
genius.
house. Hello, Marv.
Shit, Jesus. Frankie avoids me like the plague. Who's this? Hex Allen Comics.
That's Hex Allen, yeah.
He's got the sickness. You got the sickness? Well, yeah, if you got the sickness, I'll avoid you. I ain't looking to get sick, man. Come on.
Come on now.
I got to draw. I got a lot of work to draw, man. Come on. Can't be sick.
He didn't lock himself in his studio for nothing.
Whew. Man, this is the real. This right here is the reality, man. When I tell people, I'm like, yeah, you see those fun books that you like for those few minutes? How long you think it takes to make one?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just like a movie. Just like an animation.
Is Matt gonna be able to join us? I have to ask that.
Oh, Matthew? No, he's working, man. Because I asked him and he was just like, nah, dude, I got work, Frank. Yeah, he's like, he got paid on bills. I was like, all right, brother.
Okay.
Handle your own. Handle your business.
I thought he was going to be on here with us, but that's okay.
No.
You're more than that.
I guess I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah.
You keep me going. I'll drag them ears.
and especially on an auction night. Now I Doc Blaylock made me a trailer, and sadly I don't have it uploaded. But now this introduced me to another cartoon that maybe even predated Tobor for me. It's in there somewhere, but I didn't remember it till he put it in this intro trailer for me. So let's take a look at it.
All right, there's Red Fox.
There's Red Fox. There's Farrah.
All right,
let me make sure let me make sure I blow out my ears here because it's a little low.
All right, let's see.
Only on Choppy Ass Theater.
Only on Choppy Ass Theater.
I know. Check this out, man. This is like Mr. Wonder Woman.
Oh. It's time I put on my ring.
I remember this.
Hercules, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this. Filmation,
Well, baby, oh, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay.
Oh, Bill, when you
we'll
lost
do it live.
Somebody's on some good stuff. What is he on? How do you get that past the sponsors? I don't even know where to go with that. That's a lot of stuff. I was like, whoa, okay, all right. Animation, real life.
Hercules with the ring and the belt that had a bat beam, you must have
loved Birdman. You must have loved Birdman.
But I remember Birdman.
Oh, yeah, dude. Herculoids were great.
Those are incredible.
Herculoids, and you didn't know Midor because I thought you had a Midor behind you. He was
Midor. I was wondering what you were saying. The dude, the dinosaur guy.
Prehistoric club.
Yeah, the prehistoric. Yeah.
Thor without a ham. He was Thor. He was Thor.
Oh, you know who I have? I have him way up here. I can't get him though, but I have Frankenstein Jr. as a Funko.
Oh yeah. No,
I love Frankenstein Jr.
That. Yeah,
that's right. Frankenstein Jr. was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, he was. He was.
Look at all that. See, that's why when I hear people talk, when they try to use the slander of like boomers and stuff, and I go, well, but all the stuff that you like now was created during a period of, I would say like the end of 60s into the early 90s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking the great stuff like Alien. I'm talking Indiana Jones. I'm talking Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm talking Star Trek. I'm talking so everything that fandom. When you think of all of fandom, that was made during a time from that. So Gen X.
All they're doing is sequels to that stuff.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
We're all there, brother.
See Indiana Jones in the chair stream because he's a skeleton.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't know.
He's aging out. The chair of doom.
There's part of me that understands the business side of it Because I get a conversation, I go, when I worked in business, I was like, the studio wants to make money. I get it.
But they're not coming up with anything
they want to make money.
Fresh, Frankie.
Yeah, but that's
fresh.
the thing. But that's
it's past its date, baby.
But see, here's the thing. What you're saying makes sense. But to somebody who's like, paying for these things, these studios and stuff, and they got people to pay, they're sitting there going, this made money before, so why can't we just squeeze a little bit more blood out of the rock?
Look,
and that's pretty much how it is.
I just saw a documentary on the Universal monsters, and they did the same thing. You know, they made for the time they made multi-millions in today's money. They made money with those monster movies, and they kept cranking them out.
Yeah,
and
here's a shocker. I don't want to scare everybody in the chat, but this is a hardcore reality. Most of the people that are in control of these wonderful IPs that we all love, they don't really care that much.
They don't care
about them.
Nope.
So that's just a little reality check. Many of them. I won't say everybody. I'm not gonna paint a broad brush, but I'm just saying that many of them are just like, we're in this. We're gonna make money.
Well, they're actively trying to piss off the fan base now. In many instances.
Well, here I'm gonna say this to the fan base then, because I've always found that if you're truly hardcore, you don't like it, then don't buy into it. Don't, because it's not helping. It's not going to help the situation. It's going to, because they're going to keep thinking that, well, you said you don't like it, but you went to go watch it anyway. So what are we doing wrong? I mean, come on. That's when I grew up, right? I grew up in the hood, man. If I was like, I didn't like somebody or whatever, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to but I'm going to still go over and talk to you anyway, whatever. I'd be like, nah, I'm going to cut you loose.
Well, well, thank you for joining us, Frankie. We, growing up in the hood, just thanks for dropping by. We appreciate it.
No,
you guys are frightened. Were you scared?
I'm frightened.
I grew up in a trailer park. I'll say I grew up in a trailer park.
Hey, Frankie, man,
I'm just gonna say nothing wrong with trailer parks either, brother.
I grew up in Gary, Indiana, bro. So.
Right on, nothing wrong with that, man.
Nope,
represent where you grew up, man. People are all trying to hide where they come. I'm like, dude, no, there's good folks. There's good folks in those hoods. There's good folks in those trailer parks and Appalachians, where you come from. It's just like, as long as you don't come out of there with that mindset of just being like a caricature. That's what I always call them, the people that want to be caricatures and stuff. And then they get all the airplay on TV.
Well, what was your?
Am I spitting too much truth on here? I don't want to spit too much.
No,
scare everybody.
We're all good with
I don't want to scare folks.
Look, we're here.
People are used to it around here.
We're here to talk about Kaijus and Cowboys.
Yeah,
we want to get to know you, Frankie. We want to have you back on at some point.
Excellent.
We don't want to be a pariah in your eyes. We want to throw down.
I'll tell you one thing. Most of my friends know me. And their feeling about me is that I'm somebody who I don't, maybe because I'm a Virgo, is that I don't believe in that whole pariah crap. Unless somebody steps to me and they're up in my face and stuff in my grill, then we may have an issue. But I talk to everyone. I don't care who you are. Yeah. As long as we can have a civil conversation.
I get that sense from you. You need to be more outgoing though. Not live such a sheltered life.
I grew up, it was like you talk to everybody, man. It was like, what's that? Like my mom would be like, she would kill me. That's the only way she was like, if somebody said hello to me and I didn't say hello back, and my mom found out about it, discipline time. Yeah. That's a different time. There was a different time, a different mindset. They were like, you go out there, you talk to people. What are you gonna do? Turn your head and somebody's invisible to you? She said, my mom was like, Frank, she said, sometimes you're gonna have to rely on these, but I want you to focus on this.
Yeah.
This can only get you so far. It'll get you to the graveyard or to the prison. Yeah. Period. Yeah. And I grew up like that's why when I talk about 50, I'm like, I made it. I know some cats who didn't make it past 20.
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, man, I'm like, I made it to 50. I'm ready to make it to 100 now. Now I got my eyes on the prize, like 100.
I had friends die in their 30s, and that
in their 30s, man.
Yeah.
It hits you. You start sitting there, you start having these revelations, and you're going, man, I'm still here. I'm still kicking around. Maybe I got a purpose.
Legacy. Definitely got a purpose. A legacy.
There you go. Right on. Legacy, man. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, let's face it, Frankie. If you're doing it for recognition, maybe recognition in your own time, but I couldn't name you 500 people throughout history that are remembered today. Caesar, Hitler, Napoleon.
Yeah.
They're usually dictators. Genghis Khan.
Yeah, and it's not in a pleasant tone. It's not seen in a pleasant, good tone. Like someone's like in reverence. Like they're like,
Now I could name some presidents. Charlie. Chaplin
I want to be reverenced. I want to be like some kids. Like, I saw his stuff in his videos, and it really inspired me. That's what I hope for. I don't. Nah, you don't have to bow to me. I just wanted to be. Yeah, I don't believe in. I'm not into that old bowing crap. Well, you know why? And I'll be honest. I'll tell you why. Because this history has taught us that when you take the knee, or people who are started bowing down to people, human beings have this sense inside themselves where eventually they will see you rise, but boy, they'll love to see you fall.
They'll love to see you fall. Yeah,
a lot of kings and queens lost their heads. Just remember that. A lot of dukes, lords and ladies. That's why when people are like, call me a king. No, don't call me a king. I don't want to be a king. Because I don't want to lose my head. Not like that. So I'm fine with people thinking of me in reverence, where they're like, this dude. I was watching this stuff when I was a kid, and then all of a sudden I love it.
How good did that make Herb Trimpe feel? When you told him that.
Yeah.
And you want that to happen
tears in my eyes.
Frankie, I saw you work at a Turner or on Kaiju and Cowboys, and you're the reason I got into comics. How good would that make you feel?
Yes, that's worth it, man. My dreads are tingling already, man. They're already tingling. Oh, just that feeling, and it's just like, oh yes, thank you, son. And be like, go on, kid.
How long have you had dreads?
Push them on. I've had dreads.
How long have you? How long have you been wearing dreads?
I've had dreads off and on. This is the second set of dreads that I had. Like before, I went through a phase where I grew them long. I didn't take care of them. And then finally, eventually, I was like, I just went bald again. Because I've had many hairstyles. Back in the 80s, I had mohawk. I had the shag. I had like the high top fade. I went through everything. I was like, and then I always wanted a fat afro, but I couldn't grow it.
Right.
So then finally, I decided to do it. I got tired. I was like, I'm not going to be going to a barbershop dropping down like $20, $30. So I was like, I'm going to try to do my hair like dreads. So I went to this woman. She did my hair dreaded up back in. Oh man, that was like in the 90s. It was definitely in the 90s when that happened. And then I had dreads for a little bit, but I just didn't take care of them. I was just like, I'm just having. Now I take care of these bad boys. Now I'm like, all right. I started growing them back in 2013.
Now I've never had dreads. How do you take care of dreads? You have to oil them.
You just let it grow. Yeah, you got to oil it. You don't have to wash them all the time. But I'm kind of clean with mine. I just. You got to nurture them, show some love, talk to them, that kind of thing. You go, baby. Yeah, you see it, you just turn over.
I go, grow, honey, grow.
I'm like, you're gonna be okay today. Everything's gonna be all right.
It's funny, Frankie. I always wanted that fat ass afro too, man, but it just wasn't.
Man, something. Well, I'm very happy to start seeing a lot of guys growing their hair out, man.
We got freaking Medusa here. That's what
I'm talking about. I wish, man. What was that movie with X-Men? The last X-Men movie with Phoenix, and there was like this brother on there with dreadlocks, and he was just like, I think he was a mutant, and he was able to swing his dreads around.
Oh
yeah. And I was like, oh, that's insane, dude. Like Medusa. I was like, that'd be amazing.
Well, in the Kung Fu Shang-Chi in Marvel, he had a villain.
Yep.
And it had like this mace ball at the end of his ponytail.
Oh, I remember that guy.
He was an Oriental guy and swing that thing around. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was so cool, man. That goes back to the time. Back then. Oh, what a mace. You want me to have a mace? I think I scared everybody last time I was on the alternative auction where I pulled out my axe that somebody made me. I have like a war axe.
Shit.
Oh, I went to that whole phase of swords and all that stuff.
Dude, I got
an axe around here somewhere that I've had.
Dude, back in the day, I was like a beast, man, when it came to like lifting weights. Like I was, the Iron Gym lifting, because I was in German volume training. I was just like, I want to be hardcore. And then it was like I got into blades, man, and I had tons of like swords and knives, and I was in axes and stuff. And then I went through another phase where I just got tired of them. I looked at it and I was like, this ain't me, man. And I kept a few of them. Like I think I'm down to one sword. And then old ex neighbor of mine said, "Hey, I got something for you." So what do you got, man? Gave me an axe. He made an axe and he gave it to me. Cool. I mean, a warrior axe, like literally two double head kind of thing. It's just waiting.
I've got 5 very select swords, well made, high quality steel and shit. I never went nuts on it.
Yeah, I've got a real crude one that I bought back in high school that I've still got around here somewhere.
Isn't it cool? Yeah, man.
It's like double and then got a spike in the middle.
I never forget when I was going to Dorchester High, they brought this a police officer came in and he was showing us all the weapons that supposedly culprits, things. Yeah, and I remember there was switchblade, but then I remember there was a knife. Remember the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
Remember? Do you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That knife that guy had, the one with they had the knuckle spikes.
Yeah.
Someone actually had that. I remember like it was a case. The cops brought it in, and it was like this massive case. We're in the auditorium, and I was like, whoa. It was insane. He was like, yeah, we picked these off of various people. So there was like the butterfly knife and switchblade and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, dude, dang. He's like, yeah, there's some bad criminals. So there's some bad criminals out there, kids. Remember?
Yeah, dude.
Stay true.
I mean, I can get punched in the face with that thing. Oh.
They don't do that stuff anymore, though.
No.
Shadowhawk, you've been the white nipple for 20 minutes. I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, well, thank you.
What?
I appreciate that.
That's what I call his non-icon when he blinks out. The white nipple.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
There you go.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about today, fellas? Come on. Let's go on.
Okay. All right. Well, I did want to get an answer to my question. That, his 22-year-old daughter, now 23, designed that icon
marketing
for him,
manager.
Frankie. Check that out.
She designed that?
Yeah.
Icon? Very good.
She did it. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I like that, man. Potential.
She's got a bachelor's in art and graphic.
I like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's the future.
Yeah.
That's the future. That's what I'm talking
about. Frankie,
man.
Did you ever consider, like me, going to the Joe Kubert school?
They wanted me. I had a scholarship, and they contacted me, and I turned them down.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, because I lived in Boston at the time, and I didn't want to leave Boston to go to New Jersey.
Right.
And so I looked at a couple of schools in Boston, Mass Art and stuff like that. And the final school was Buterra School of Art. It's not around anymore, but they were the ones who were like hardcore. They were like, boom. They're like, we don't teach starving artists. I never forget that. Like I sat there, I had my comic book pages, and the guy who ended up being my teacher, and he's a mentor. I still talk to him. He's an old ex-army guy, man. He just looked at me and he said, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do starving artists here. We do artists that get paid, get money. Yeah. This is for a career. Are you here for a career? And I said, yeah. And he said, all right, welcome aboard. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was
it. And
it
can be tedious work, brother. It can be tedious.
It is tedious work.
There's days that you want to get out of it because it's so tedious.
Yes. I had one of my teachers once told me when I had my first year was rough, and I was really considering that, did I make the right choice? And one of my teachers said, come on. He said, Frank, let's go. And he took a walk up Beacon Street. And I'll never forget it. He said, his name was Hal. He passed away. And he said, Frank, he said, who did you think did that sign? And we were looking at the Cheers sign for Cheers. And I said, I don't know. Like, 20-year-olds. I was like, I don't know. And he said, an artist. And I said, okay. He said, who do you think did the public gardens over there? Make it all pretty for people to look at. I said, I don't know. He said, landscaper, an artist. He said, those buildings that we were walking by, these brownstones, an architect did it. An artist. He said, the clothes on your back, an artist. The cars that are on the street, someone had to design they look, right? An artist. Yep. He said, don't ever let anyone ever tell you that we don't bring anything to the table. We bring everything to the table. Imagine that. The clothes that I'm wearing. Yeah. An artist did this.
Yeah.
I didn't do this. An artist did this. They designed this. The stuff that you have in your house. An artist built those things, shelves, everything. Yeah. So you should never be held in your head low. Like you're like, I should be accepting these pennies and be sure thing. I'll take those pennies. No, no. What you do is you should be getting a fair wage, just like any other independent contractor out there. When I go to my mechanic, I don't look at my mechanic and judge them less than.
Right? Thank you for that, Frankie. You actually touched my heart because my father made two of these.
Right on.
So I guess that my father was an artist.
He's an artist.
Of course he was.
He's an artist. If you make chairs, you build stuff with your hands. You build a house. You make stuff. You are an artist. You are a creative person. If you're a writer, you write the things we read. You are an artist. People, please understand that. Don't stop selling yourself cheap.
Yeah.
Stop accepting pennies. I'm tired of people accepting pennies. Like, you should be accepting it. You should hold your head high. I don't think you should be greedy. I don't believe in greedy people. I don't think you need to be greedy, but I think you should be getting your fair wage.
A fair wage.
I pay a fair wage. I pay my mechanic. When my mechanic does the car and they work on it, that's an art form to me. I can't build an engine. That's an art form.
And a lot of people don't figure up. They look at one piece of artwork and they don't figure up. Well, okay, if you got 4 hours, I got 4 hours.
That's a bunch of.
I got 4 hours just in this right here, which is kind of like a practice thing.
Yeah, every artist is different. Every time I always get, sometimes I get those clients that will try that stuff with the time thing, and I'm really professional with them, but I lay it out to them. I'm like, well, again, if you're asking me, you want all these detailed things and whatever, I can't really give you like a hourly kind of thing. Sometimes this may take longer than that. And I'm gonna, if it does take longer, I'm gonna give you a rate that I feel that is, dealing with my experience, that I think is a fair amount. And now your choice is whether or not you're gonna like it or not. And if not, then fine. I'll wish you well. And I've turned down some other gigs. I turn down gigs all the time. I just turned down a gig recently that was insane. It was for some storyboards for a film that's gonna be in my city. And I was like, I got my other stuff. I got 2 comic books I gotta be working on, and I got a ton of commissions. Mm-hmm. I said, hopefully, I appreciate the fact you're coming to me. I said, keep my name in your in your docket or whatever. But when the time comes up, maybe we could do something.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm stymied.
So anyway, the weather, storm clouds, rain.
I had a good question for you, and I kind of got wrapped up in your jargon there.
I know, man. I told you I can start getting to a preach. I'm like, come on now, everybody, come on, get the glory.
Right. There we go.
I'm preaching, man. Because the thing about it is, I do care. I am passionate about comic books. I'm passionate about this art form, and I think that I like to see more people. Humbly see more people out there talking the real. I don't mind. Look at me. I can sit in and I could BS with you guys all day. We could do the whole like back in the old days with the local shop and talk that kind of stuff. We could do that. But then does that get the job done? Because after a while, we got to get the job done. We can talk till our faces are blue, pink, whatever you want to call it. But if we're not putting out stuff, then it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
The kids are gonna keep buying manga. The other day I was with my wife and we went to Barnes & Noble.
Can we turn this around? Can we turn it around?
We can turn it around. It starts right now. It starts right now. It starts with people going out there looking at this very seriously, and we can still have fun. I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but we can still have fun. But just go out there and say, I'm gonna try to put the best product I can. I'm gonna try to invest in customer service, have good customer service, make sure books come out at a reasonable time. And just keep the machine going. Consistency. Like, I missed the days of Chris Claremont when I knew that the one writer was going to be on this X-Men book, or one artist was going to be on it for extended amount of time, and then they bring in a guest artist. But that artist like John Byrne was on there for a minute. He was on there for a long time. And even when he did Fantastic Four, he was on Fantastic Four for a lot of issues. So it's like, it'd be nice to start seeing books start generating going back to that.
It's something that you just brought that up, because yesterday was the anniversary, I believe, of his first Fantastic Four. And I quoted him. He said, it was like, I've never done drugs before, but this was like putting me, I think I'll start with heroin, because that was his very first comic. Was the very first Dr. Doom issue 5. And that was like putting him on crack cocaine. He did it for 5 years.
Yeah, and another thing too, if you look at John Byrne's work, that's why when I'm talking about Kaijus and Cowboys, I'm about the journey, because I think too many people. I'm gonna tell some of if there's any people in the chat who are like want to be artists and whatever, this is about the journey. So when I keep hearing people talk about perfection doesn't exist in my eyes. The thing is that there's a journey. If you looked at John Byrne's artwork from when he first started out to where he was going, and even up to now, you can see a progression of style, how he just got, whatever. He got better. It's almost like Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. You look at the original Ninja Turtles and look at where they're at now. Totally different stuff. I knew briefly Stephen Hughes and Brian Pulido when they were just starting out with Evil Ernie.
Oh, dude.
And yeah, because they were up here. They were up in the Northeast. And Lady Death. It looks nothing like what they're doing now because they have a story to tell. There's a progression. You can't start off from the beginning saying, "Oh, I'm perfect." You know, look at Frank Miller. His style changed from the very beginning when he was at Marvel and stuff, and then it progressed up to what he was doing for Sin City and stuff like that. Hey, that looks familiar.
Yeah,
but that's what it's about, the journey, man.
To me as a reader, I got some special feeling out of that of watching a young George Perez on his first run on Avengers when he was first starting out, the Cruder stuff, which I prefer actually. And then watching him progress and his style get better and better. Change like Barry Windsor Smith or even and that was part of the lovely thing about it, to see the artist over time. And you treasuring that early work, but then watching him progress through time is something special.
It goes right back to what I said before. How old were you when you first started reading comics?
I was
about reading age, about third grade. I mean,
Well, there you go. It starts with kids. And see, when I hear, yo, what's up, Apex?
Hey,
when I hear people talk, when I say, well, kids, and they go, well, what do you mean kids comics? I'm like, what are you talking about, kids comics? When I was a kid, I was reading Punisher. Is that a kid comic? Because I was reading Punisher, Conan the Barbarian. I was reading all that stuff, and they weren't. And nowhere did I ever see any kind of thing that said just for kids.
Well,
like I didn't see just for kids on that.
No,
to me,
they just put books out.
I mean, at my age, 57, I've just got my first book out on Indiegogo and delivered for Field, and we're getting ready to launch the full version. And so my dream, I could die happy right now. I made a comic. There was
don't jinx yourself now. Also, he just falls down. He just falls down like, oh no, dude.
Oh no.
Like Dead Space. I know we just sit here. We just sit here and just stare at you.
Is he just playing?
I know, just sit there and watch him.
But I mean,
I wouldn't put it past them. Waiting for
sequential artwork, though. Comics, you got pencils, you got inks, you got a writer, you got editor, you've got all this stuff. It's not just a pretty picture, one and done. It's very daunting to me. You got colorists, you got all kinds of stuff that you deal with in the production of that. It really is a collaborative, or you can do it like Michael Bancroft. You can do it all your own, or Ryan James of Octagon. They do all their stuff from beginning to end, and certainly I would like to do that, but I'm a slower artist to do that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But if it's a passion project, but it really is a daunting task. Sequential artwork. That's why, and distribution. You got to, and marketing. All that comes into play, and that's why I like crowdfunding. I said, here's the distribution end of it that bypasses Diamond and Capital that was before Diamond, and really it was the direct market that led to the demise of the spinner rack. Hence, kids don't get to see it in their grocery stores or pharmacies anymore. They can't have that chance encounter with And the thing 147.
And the thing is that the comic book industry left such a massive hole open that guess who came right in? Gaming.
Independence.
Yeah.
Gaming came in. Gaming filled that slot. And then manga. The funny part, I tell people go, oh my God, manga's great. No. Manga never changed their formula. They kept it to the point of newsprint, cheap newsprint, few color scenes, and that's it. They did not change. What they did was they opened their avenues up for the American market. They said, well, hey, your comic books here, you're trying to sell to the speculative market and you're outpricing yourself to your main core audience. We'll take them. We'll take those kids. Now they can buy all of our mangas and start getting into the worlds that we're establishing. That's how we're at the place where we're at today. And now the thing is that now guys like me and Matt are out there trying to bring it back to where it was supposed to be about.
Stuff like this. Is that magazine size? That almost looks magazine.
No, this is a standard comic book size.
Oh, is it?
Oh, dude, look at that.
Yeah, there you go. This is issue number 1. We're offering issue number 1 and issue number 2.
Nice.
Oh, look at that color. Yeah.
Wow, look at them colors.
Who's your colorist, Frankie?
Me.
Me.
Nice,
okay.
Bro.
Yeah.
And
the thing about it is that the way I color, because I worked in animation, was I sat there and I said, well, I tend to do a lot of detail. Like I put a lot of blacks into my work. So like Mike Mignola or something like that. And so, my thing is that I don't need to have a template. I want to make sure my color template, mirrored a lot of stuff from the Bronze Age, where it was very simple coloring. It was just to help enhance it. Just simple, basic. Yeah, it pops out. Let me see.
Nice and bright, dude. And it's nothing too dark. I love it. You can still see all your pencil work. Nice. Beautiful.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wham. Where did I get that from?
Look at that.
That's all. That's John Byrne right there.
Yeah.
That's John Byrne stuff, rock shattering. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then
he did debris wonderfully.
Yeah.
Love his debris. Him and George Perez. Him and George Perez could do debris,
Oh yeah, like when the Hulk, I'll say like the Hulk punches something or somebody punches, they just demolish it. Oh, I love that.
And fragments going everywhere. And then the rubble, I could just look at the rubble and go, wow, look at that burned rubble.
Yes. But that's what we're trying to. I know I'm doing that in Kaijus and Cowboys. Like I'm trying to bring back that sense of when you get immersed into the story.
Why are you avoiding the hard stuff, Frankie?
What's the hard
as a
stuff?
comic book artist, you're supposed to be able to draw anything the writer can think up. And here you are playing with Kaijus and Cowboys. What the hell?
Well, I mean, come on. We need Kaijus and Cowboys, man. Come on. Who doesn't? Well, think about it. It was funny when Matthew, because here's the funny part about it. When we first was talking, because me and Matthew have been working together off and on for 7 years total. We worked. Hey, that's right. Represent. When we first, thank you. Check out Apex. He'll make me blush.
I'd like to see that.
They're turning purple. When me and Matthew, we first worked on a web series that was called The Secret Lives of Villains, and it was black and white, and we did it for a couple of years, and you can still find it, I guess, on Tapa.
That's an interesting title. I like that title.
Yeah, well, that was his. He had actually brought me aboard, like hired me, commissioned me to do some work, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're incredible!" But I always told him, I said, I love giant monsters, and I've worked on other if the best way I tell people, if you want to see the stuff that I've done. There's a site where you can see comic books with the amount of work that various artists have done on comic books, and I can't think of the name of it. But you do a search for my name. I've worked on various comic books. Some, I did. I know I got a pinup in some 2 pinups in a couple of Dark Horse books, and some other stuff that I worked on. But nothing was never to the level of doing, what I really am passionate about, and that passion is giant monsters and giant robots. And so he said he wanted to do something that I would be jazzed about. And so this came. Actually, I'll show you guys. This was the very first book, the teaser. So that was the teaser right there.
So like a preview or what?
Yeah. Well, the plan was that we were going to treat Kaijus and Cowboys sort of like a film. So originally, when you see a film, you see the teaser trailer. So this was our 0 issue. This was a 0 issue that we put out.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was just an introduction to the world of Kaijus and Cowboys and Bwin.
Do you do digital? Do you do digital?
Yeah, this is digital color. Digitally colored. These are all hand drawn on paper.
Yeah, I know you do traditional, but I just wondered. Yeah, I just wanted to establish that you do both. Yeah.
It's like I call it like a fusion of traditional and then digitally colored, and then I add in a little extra stuff in there. But as you can see, it's a lot different than that version right there. But this is the teaser one that we did. And I was like, look, I want to draw scenes out. I want to have things like this, action scenes, where you see a character crash through something.
And you do the lettering, you do the sound effects, right? You design all that?
Yeah. Great.
I do the sound effects. I'm not a letterer, but I do the sound effects. So I definitely help the letterers out a lot.
Well, like that bzzz there. Or whatever you did that.
Yep, I did. Yeah, I did this artwork as well on here.
Yeah, you're not a letterer, but you can do the very graphic looking sound effects.
Yeah, I try to tell people because a lot of people think that every artist should be able to do certain things. Like I used to get people bugging me about tattoos. Are you a tattoo artist? And I'm like, nah, dude. Tattoos are a totally different kind of thing.
Yeah,
My mindset's
different thing.
Yeah, I'm on 2D paper. They'll be like, are you a graffiti artist? And I'm like, no, I love graffiti, but I don't consider myself a tagger. You know, doing that kind of stuff. It's just not in my wheelhouse. And so, or muralists. You know, everyone kind of they want to put artists in, and some artists are gifted. Mind you, they could do all of that above. I'm focused on traditional 2D illustration artwork. And then when I'm doing these sound effects, they're just part of the artwork.
I know people approached me and said, I bet you would do an awesome job on a motorcycle tank, you know, pinstriping and stuff.
Sure. Oh, that's old school. That's what my school did. My school used to do that. It was part commercial illustration and sign painting.
On a curved surface.
Oh, the work that I saw from the sign painters. Oh, what an art form. I mean, the stuff that they would, the detailing. I mean, they would come in, we would get to walk around and see some of the work. They would literally be working on vehicles. Remember back in the day, you see a van and they have like a wizard on the side of it. That's what they did.
I always wanted
they would
a van
do
with
stuff.
a big mural.
Yeah. Oh, it was amazing. And I mean, that stuff is like, I hope that there's still people that still keep it going because that's tremendous. Calligraphy. Like people doing sign painting, calligraphy. I would go down and watch some of these people. They're just standing there, just doing these. It's incredible. Right. I can't do that stuff.
Yeah,
you know, because
it takes a steady hand. And,
it's not in my
even
wheelhouse.
have some of those brushes. You know, they're real long.
Yeah.
You know, where you can just.
But you got to be into it, and I think that's one of the things about it. You shouldn't be just jumping into. I know a lot of people want to be jacks of all trades, and if you can be, then more power to you. But I say try to focus on what you can really get really good at. It's like sports, you know. If or like for me, like if I did a different path and became like a bodybuilder or a power lifter, that was always my side dream. I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool to be a power lifter.
Well, you know, when you're a comic artist, though, you are called upon to draw anything. I mean,
I can draw
Marvel
anything.
or DC back in the day, you know, they would say, well, I want this long hallway or pyramid or plane and they'd have to draw all that. They would try working reference.
Try working in advertising. One of the biggest clients we had, one of the biggest clients that I worked for was GMC. And I'm not a big truck aficionado. Is that the word? Right. But I'm not. I'm more like but I had to draw that stuff. And I had to make it fun and interesting, but it taught me. Like I had to draw, draw some dudes driving over the mountains and stuff. You can do that, Frank. Yeah, sure, I can do it. You paying me? I'll do it. You know, so I had to draw cars. I remember doing stuff for Dunkin' Donuts. I did stuff for Gillette. I remember doing Gillette ads. Oh yeah. Like I said, most ads, the old school ads from the 90s and stuff. I did some work. I did some work on them, and I would sit back and watch them. And go, wow! I remember working on that. I remember doing a story, but I remember doing a 24-hour bend on that one. Yay!
I bet Mama was proud.
Yeah. She I think the thing is, my mom came from a different time where she couldn't understand art. I think she struggled with that because, again, I think a lot of people could not fathom in their mind that you can make a living doing art, and I understand that.
Yeah,
because again, a lot of my family members were like blue collar, and before I went to art school. I guess I was blue collar because I started work at age 12. So I was a straight up hustler. Like my mom got me work. She was like, you like comic books? I said, yeah. She said, get a job. She's like, get a job. Just straight out. Just go get a job. And I got a job working folding papers. I was a stock boy. I did landscaping. I did telemarketing. I did everything. Anything I can just, nothing illegal, but just anything I can make some money to buy my comic books. And it felt good to make money. And so finally, once I started, my final gig was security. I put myself through art school working for a security company, and they loved me. They were just like, "Yeah, Frank,
you were there. You were probably."
Yeah, well, they were like, "Hey, man," they said, "Frank, you're very dedicated. You're very, serious and stuff. The next level would be armed." And then, but my sergeant, and he was an ex-Vietnam vet guy. He just came to me and he sat down and he said, "Washington," and I said, "Yeah." And he said, I know you could do a tremendous job if you wanted to go next step, like armed security. But he was like, why did you go to art school? And I said, well, I went to art school because, why am I going to art school? Excuse me. And I said, yeah, I'm going because I'm an artist and I like drawing. He said, well, then you just answered your question. The question. He said, you just answered the whole thing. He said, you need to follow your path. You need to follow your passion. He said, don't. He said, don't allow anything else to deter you from that. And that was it. I was like, okay, I can't do security anymore. I gotta make money. I gotta get money. Yeah, and trust me, it wasn't easy. It was. I think 2 years later, 2 years after I graduated, I wasn't getting work. I was getting frustrated and stuff. And then finally, I just said, look, I said, universe, whatever out there, I said, please, all I need is one break, one job to come, and I'm jumping on it. And it did. It was a production company that was in Waltham, Mass, and they were doing 2 films, and they needed a storyboard artist. And I said, okay, and I took it.
What got you back into comics?
I've always been off and on with comic books. I worked, I always had that little itch inside of me where I wanted to, because as much as advertising pays and I was treated really well and people respected me, there's nothing, it doesn't factor the feeling when somebody actually is following you for your artwork, like someone who's a fan, who's like, I really like your artwork. This is what your artwork meant to me. And they have their artwork on your wall. It's a totally different thing, if you can understand that. Than somebody who's like working professionally and they're like, well, you did a great job, Washington. You killed it on that campaign, right on, that kind of thing. Go grab a beer, that kind of thing. And they still respect me, but there's something a little bit hollow because the artwork I was doing was really just commercial art. It wasn't like stuff that you can hang on a wall. It's not something where I can have like a conversation about. It was like me drawing, a Dunkin' Donuts cup with somebody holding it, that kind of thing. Right. And so I would always have
like a fan base.
I would always jump. So what I would do off and on when things kind of slowed down in between gigs, I would try to look for, little things that I could do. And the money wasn't an option. So I'd be like, all right, I'll just do this stuff, whatever. Like little anthologies, just to keep my, just to keep the skills up and stuff. And so so off and on. And then I started posting online. So it was all these different little factors where I was never truly out of comics, but I was really waiting for a point when, to me, comic books would be a place where I can just jump into and then be like, I can go full force into it. And I always kept telling myself, I said, by the age of 50, I'm going to be at the place where I need to be. And here I am. I'm at the place where I need to be. And I know
you did some early development with Keith Gleason on the Mighty Mascots.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, dude, I love Keith.
Yeah, I did all those characters. I concepted those.
Yeah.
He has some rough ideas.
There's been many an alternate auction. I'm like, I wish I had
$200.
That's how I got to know Frankie. I had no idea who you were, Frankie, until alternate auctions, and then
it was through the auctions that I got to know you.
And then of course
a little bit about you.
I just go under the wire, man, and that's the thing. It's like I've been around for a very long time. It's funny. It's like when people start.
He's infectious. Yeah. He's effervescent.
Exactly.
It's Frankie B.
Smells like roses. That rose scent. The whiff.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, man.
I'm not Catholic, but I do have a rose scented I don't rosary.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing wrong with it. Well, check it out. I went to parochial school. I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know it, but my mother, when she was extremely young, about 5 years old, she went to Catholic school, and she's not Catholic.
I got baptized. I got baptized twice. I got baptized from Catholics, and I got baptized in Baptists. So, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going. I got a straight way.
I got 2 feet.
Frankie, they probably had to hold him under longer.
Oh man, they're like, hey, this guy's he's been dipped twice. Right on, man, right on. But nah, man, it's just where I think we're at a place now where I feel personally that this is a great time, a great period for just all comic book creators out there. We're in a great period right now.
Is the momentum behind independence? Is that where the movement is now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The thing about independence, though, what I would like to see more independents do is, and because I learned this from one of my mentors years ago, they said, Frank, stop worrying about what goes on in the Joneses' house. Worry about your own house. And that's true. Because the thing about it is, when you worry about somebody else's house, you get detracted from what your house. Your house could be burning, But you're over here pointing at this other person's house, and they're like, "Well, look at the house. Why that house got all that nice stuff?" But it's like, dude, your house is burning. You got to take care of your house. I would like to see more people worry about their own house. You know how you want, if you want to truly, defeat anyone at anything, just do better. Yeah. That's what one of my mentors would say. He said, just do better. He said, put out a better product.
Right.
Have better customer service. Get your stuff out of time, and the proof will be in the pudding. You'll see. You'll start seeing your numbers rise. Like, to me, I'm sitting here. We got 49 people right now, which we call riders. We got 49 riders right now. I want to double that. I want more riders. Not for just the. I'm not looking at the price. And I even told Matthew that. We talked about it. I said, dude, I don't care about the price. I care about the riders, man. I want riders. I want readers. I want to know that our books are going in the hands of people who are going to read it.
Yeah.
So that then they can pass it on.
Right.
Maybe they got a little kid, and the little kid walks by and he's like, "Ooh, I saw Godzilla. Oh, let me read this." That's what I care about. I care about readers, man. Yeah, this is one of this guy right here, man. Wilfred, man. He shocked me. He sent this to me. This guy's over in the Philippines.
Wow.
And he said, Frank, he took a picture in front of his collection, which is insane. And he was like, dude, I want to show you that I'm reading the book. And I was like, what do you say to that, man? I was like, dude, I don't know.
Are those all Shogun Warriors?
Shogun Warriors.
They're Shogun and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, a bunch of stuff.
Astro Boy. Hell yeah.
I'm saying to the chat, if you do the campaign, please take pictures. Take pictures and please draw images on the variant covers, man. Please. That stuff does wonders, man. Like, I've been watching Pete. Like, Pete's been doing what's his name? King Cryptid. And I'm just loving how people are just showcasing that they got the books and they're just posting it. I'm like, that's what it's about, man.
Do we have any wrenches in the chat that can drop the link? Or Rex, do you have the link for Frankie's campaign? Where are you at, Frankie?
What?
Where's this at right now? Is it
Frankie,
the campaign right now?
Drop his own link. If Frankie will make a comment or drop his own link, I will wrench him. I will give him a wrench. How's that for a deal, Frankie?
How you guys do this stuff, man? I'm like an old man. So what am I doing? What I got a YouTube.
Don't talk to us about being old. You're the youngest on the panel.
Hey, can anybody in the chat help me out? Can you post? I got a YouTube page, Frankie B. Washington.
Can you at least say hi so I can wrench you? Can you?
Hey, chat. Do I say hi in there?
Is that why I go to back one?
Hold on a second.
I just want to know where I go to back number 1 and 2, Frankie.
That way, maybe you'll come back and you'll drop your link anytime you want.
Frankie. Well, actually, the link is for the Kaijus right on the campaign right now. You can get 1 and 2.
Right, but I'm just asking.
Okay, now the link is down in the comments, folks. So if you just
it's in the comments. Okay.
I've got all his links that he provides.
Oh, okay,
there you go.
I
just can't go all the way back.
Guys are confused. I'm like, what am I doing? What happened? Who am I? Why am I here?
The links are right down there. Yeah.
The crazy thing is everybody in this chat has a wrench.
Yeah, everybody has a wrench.
Can you hook a brother up? Can you help an old brother out?
I will.
Come on, somebody in the chat. Someone just drop my YouTube page in there?
Pressured.
There you go.
Drop it. Show some love, man. Come on.
Come on, Apex.
You don't got no love for me,
brother.
I love that. You don't got no love.
The Kickstarter.
There you go. That's the Kickstarter.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Well,
I just wanted you to say.
Everyone
right
can get
there.
issue 1 and 2.
I dropped it.
There you go.
Just wait a minute. There it goes.
See, there's the love.
Right,
there's the love. You can get issue 1 and 2 on this campaign.
See, I dropped it.
Now we're cooking. All right.
There you go. Oh yeah, we're thinking about you because we did the first campaign last year and that was for issue 1, but then we were like, hey, come on, a lot of people missed that one, so now you can sort of catch up.
What I got going on here, man? Let's see. Wait a minute.
I'm telling you,
I'm on the wrong screen. I got 2 screens up now. Okay, here we go.
This technology, man. Whew.
Yeah,
man, I know.
Crazy.
Matthew Blair. I actually got this from Matthew Blair, and then went over there off Twitter straight to the Kickstarter, and now here we are. Okay, so we'll watch the trailer.
Oh, thanks, Apex.
Yeah. Thank you, Apex. Good man.
No, yeah. I mean, I dropped the link. What are you thinking him for?
Because he's going to drop it again.
Because my man Apex. That's my man.
Coming soon.
Hey Apex, while you're here, are we gonna have a show tonight, or are you doing the Uber thing? Because I'm his co-host over there on Saturday nights, Frankie. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Apex Comics. Oh man, you guys, there's so many shows, man. Oh, you know what I do is I tend to draw and listen to a lot of stuff. Oh, that's my thing. Yeah. Like I'll have some of these shows on. I listen. I can't watch them while I'm drawing, so I'm just trying to listen in the background. Woo! Woo!
Yeah, that's breaking into comic. Only on Choppy Ass Theater. We're good trailers, though, to die, Frankie. We're so I've been told.
Put my duster on, man.
Yeah. I like those style lettering with your names. Awesome.
Issue 3 is coming. And it's not going to be.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew Blair. I just wanted to stop by after the trailer to show my face and let you know what's going on behind the scenes.
We did have Matt on.
So for those of you who have donated to our crowdfunding campaigns in the past, thank you so much and welcome back. And for those of you who are just finding us and checking us out, welcome to Kaijus and Cowboys. So for those of you who are new, I've been working with artist Frankie B. Washington over the past couple of years on this comic. It started as a one-shot, but we've actually been able to turn it into a 12-issue series. And while we did have a publisher, unfortunately, it did not work out, but it's okay. No hard feeling. And we've decided to release the whole thing independently on our own through Kickstarter. So this current Kickstarter is for issues 1 and 2 of the 12-issue series, and we're working on getting more crowdfunding campaigns up and running in the future. We're aiming to do another one later this year, and we're going to be releasing the book over the next couple of years, so you get the full Kaijus and Cowboys experience. So check us out. Check out some of the amazing rewards that we have in store for you. And if you have any questions, my comments are always open. So thank you so much, and keep that creativity strong and the art flowing.
There you go.
Oh,
now where is Matt? I mean, look at those trees with the moss and everything. Where is he at?
Oh, I think he's in Oregon.
Oh, somewhere. In Oregon. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I could be wrong. He's told me a number of times too, and my memory's like, okay. He's originally a New Englander like me. He's originally a New Englander, but he decided to leave us and stuff. And I was like, I do whatever.
Go west, young man.
Whatever.
Wow. So you probably like some good clam chowder and seafood.
Nope, I can't eat that. Dude, I cannot eat shellfish, man. That's like my kryptonite. That'll take me down, man. That'll take me down. Oh yeah, shellfish, man. I can eat seafood like shark, tuna, stuff, but man, those sea roaches, woo. Sea roaches will do me down. They'll do me dirty, man. Lobsters, yeah, that's what you call them. Sea roaches, shrimp, lobsters,
mud
crab.
Bugs,
ooh, that'll do me dirt. Sometimes I joke with my wife. I'm like you do survival shows, and you see they just sit up there eating mussels and stuff. I'm like, dude, I'd probably have to end up killing one of the persons next to me and eat them. Probably.
I did Apex, but I didn't say anything.
You guys got all quiet after I said that. They're like, is he talking about cannibalism?
We used to call them mud bugs, dude. You just dig them out of the mud.
Oh man, that'll take me down, man.
Suck some head.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Think how worse it would be if you have like a chocolate allergy or milk. Yeah. You think about things like that. And I go, I can't complain. I can't complain. I don't mind. I can do without on some lobster or some crabs. I can stare at it, but nah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if it's gonna mess with you, you don't want to mess with it,
Nah,
No,
man,
yeah,
I want to be
sure.
around, man. Come on.
Yeah.
So
It ain't
you
worth
had a
it.
goal of 2,000, so you're fully funded. You're
Yeah.
fully funded with
Well,
24
what
days
we
to
found,
go.
well, what we found was
Uh-huh.
that's the golden spot. Me and Matt talked about this, and
Yeah.
we strategized, and we said, you know what, $2,000 is like the honeypot. It's like that's the starting off one. Where as long as we get to that, we're good. And then if it goes beyond, then that's when the frosting and the cherries start coming on top of it. But right there, that's the cake. That's the cake right there, the 2,000 mark.
And
then
how many
anything else that's
pages
added
is,
on it?
how many
22
pages is
pages.
this, Frankie?
22 pages long.
Is that on
Wow.
both issues?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting 44 if you get number one, which I can't see why you wouldn't.
Well, yeah,
get
you get
number
it's
one.
yeah, 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
why would
we're
you want-
going the old school floppy way.
Ooh, look at those stickers. Ooh,
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
look at that.
Yeah, Frankie, you might be my second Kickstarter ever.
Oh man, come on now. I'm on it. I'm just totally on it.
I just don't like the way they do the billing, dude. So
I'm looking.
But,
I'm
oh
looking.
my
I'm
God,
looking for
man.
some free space here. You
I
like
love your
putting
colors,
something in
bro.
every square,
Wow.
don't you? You like filling
well,
up.
Again, this is the part of me where I don't take any of this stuff lightly. Like when people say that they're gonna put their hard-earned money down to
Right.
purchase something that I've been
Oh,
part
yeah.
of, I don't know, man. I'm from old school, where that's kind of humbling to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't have to. I mean, people could
Right.
definitely spend their money on other different things or whatever. But somebody says, you know what? I'm gonna put some money down
Yeah.
to buy something that you did. Then I'm just like, I gotta come with something. We're gonna give you a meal. 22 pages. That's what you're getting. You're not gonna get anything less than that.
Look at that. I mean, I like that you went simple right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
you go 2,000.
Yeah.
My whole thing is that I want to bring that feeling of what those Bronze Age books meant to me.
right.
And so I'm not I can only draw what how I can draw and stuff. And to me, I feel like I can look at those pages and go, that's 200% of Frankie B.
Yeah.
Right there.
Oh, dude, it's so cool because it's like very new and bright and vibrant, but at the same time, it like brings back like memories of Mobius and things like that.
I love bright colors. I love the bright,
dude.
like the primary color palette,
or the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
dude,
stuff
I
was
love
great.
it, man. This is what comics is supposed to be. Look at
It was eye catching. It was just
Yeah.
eye catching. I mean, when you saw a book right there, when you went into your local comic shop, it would catch your eye. One of the things that I love too was the cover. Remember how the covers? The covers were like a prelude to what was going to be inside. You know, that was a great. I'm like, those are the things that we're doing. That's what I'm doing.
And there's a lot of people that do covers now that have nothing to do with the guts of the book.
Well, again,
pretty
yeah,
fair.
I know, because what happened is that if you're looking at the big guys, and I try. I'm one of those people where I'm very careful because I don't want to give too much airspace to what the other big guys are doing. But we know who the big guys are, right? So the thing is that if you're seeing that, then you go, well, they're doing it, so clearly I should be doing the same thing. And my feeling is that no, the thing is that you should be your own voice, and you should be coming in with something unique and different. Oh wow. Wow, you're hardcore, man. You're hardcore.
Yeah,
you're like a hardcore comic book collector, man.
Yeah,
you are. That's amazing. Like people who actually have what? So is that your oldest book?
No.
Dude, that's just a random
my oldest
choice.
book's probably a giveaway promo book from like 1939.
Woo! Whoa!
But now here's one of my favorites.
How you holding that together? Is that like
first appearance of Shoney Bear?
Shoney Bear. Oh my goodness! Wow.
I'm first appearance of Shoney Bear. Yeah, a friend of this gave me back in the 1980s, and I still have it in near mint.
How big a collection do you have? Do you know how big of a collection you have? Like how big a collection do you have?
About 30,000 books.
Yeah.
My first collection burned up.
oh, that's painful. Oh,
yeah,
that is
tell
painful.
me.
You had to bring it up again.
I know. You know, but the one piece of artwork I'd like to have back is the one John Byrne page I had, and it was all the Avengers heads that they still use today up in the Ditko box. You know, all the Avengers heads. I had that sheet. Now here's a rarity. I have to show this to you, Frankie. There's only this is on the Gerber list. Funnies number 1, 1959. This book right here, only about 20 of them exist.
Wow.
And mine's in, awesome. Fairly nice shape.
Oh, that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I love it. This is amazing, man. As a collector, hey, I feel your pain. I remember I went through a stretch of hard times, and I had to give up my I had original Shogun Warrior pages. I had at least 40 of them. Wow. Signed by Herb Trimpe. And times got rough for me. I told anybody who gets.
I heard you tell this story before.
I'll tell any collector out there, if you get into the collector game, well, I know for myself as a collector, there's a part of my mind that tells me that goes, well, I love this. First off, I love it, so I love the work collecting it. But also, there's a part where I go, well, if times get hard, I could flip it. It's always in the back of my mind, like, if things get tough and I need some emergency cash, then I know I can flip it and make some money. Because at one point I was going hardcore. I remember at one point, Shane Glein. You ever heard of Shane Glein?
That was my first Marvel anything right there.
Hey, do you guys know Shane Glein? He's the guy that did a lot of work on the Batman animated show. He did a lot of the character. Yeah, he did a lot of character sketches and stuff. Well, anyway, back in the 2000, I dropped like 2 G's down. Like he had an eBay auction, and he had a bunch of like his sketches. Like tons Batman, all that stuff. Even Kim Impossible. He did a ton of stuff for Kim Impossible. Yeah. And I was like, I saw it. This is how like I was going nuts. But he put an eBay auction up, and it was under $2,000. And I said, I'm getting that. And I got it. And I remember having all that artwork, and I made so much money, like reselling it back, like a bunch of stuff back. And I kept refunding my stuff. So I got Shogun Warriors. I had like DP7 pages because I love Paul Ryan, his work. So I got a ton of DP7 pages. I had like all kind of artwork, but I had to skim stuff down. Times get hard. You got to skim it down. So I still got pages. I still got some Herb Trimpe stuff. But it's like I got a Herb Trimpe Godzilla head that he did for me. That's going nowhere. That's not going anywhere. And I also got a sketch card.
Is there anything?
I got a sketch card. Nowhere? Yeah. There's certain things I can't. Yeah, I can't get. I can't let go. No,
I haven't eaten.
I struggle with my own art. I struggle with my own art. Like I know, like people like certain things that I've drawn and stuff. But I'm like,
because that's your baby. That's your baby, right?
Yeah,
you're proud.
I gotta let it marinate a little bit. Gotta hold on to it just a little bit longer. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, take it to the printer, get it scanned. You can still keep it, just not the original, right?
Yeah. Well, no, my thing is that I'm all about the original.
You're all about the original.
I'm all
Walt Simonson, he keeps nearly everything. He's got a backlog of everything he ever did.
To me, as a collector, something about like getting an original page and then seeing a coffee stain on it and seeing the work that the hands that put that work into it, the cut and paste. All that cool stuff, that story that's right there. That's what I'm buying that.
Do you have
your what I really love,
collection
Frankie?
From a kid on up, Steve?
No, unfortunately, no. I have a lot of old schools like pages, comic book stuff. They're like when I used to draw like 11 by like now the way I draw is this size.
Yeah. Well,
so I get like 2 pages to like one sheet of comic book board. But back in the day, I used to draw bigger. Yeah, and I have some of those pages from like old school stuff. Yeah, it's all I got packed away.
Is that a time thing for you? That you're doing smaller scale?
Yeah, okay. That's all based. That's all coming from my years of working in advertising. The professional, the dedication, like in teaching me was that they were like time management. Because again, think about it. I could be sitting here, like say right now, if I was really into advertising, I could get a call on my phone and they're like, "Hey Frank, this is New York. We need 30 storyboards, like colored, fully colored for Monday morning." Right?
Wow.
So you get the call, right? So right now, whatever the time is, now I get the call that I'm a start, but then dealing with the art director who was working on it, they may actually start sending me stuff over by 5 p.m. you know. So then I got to work on that, and then I got to do edits over the weekend. So my weekend shot. That means that I'm stuck in the house to work on that stuff. So over the years, that taught me how to be like, okay, how do I speed it up? But I'm able to somehow get the stuff out at a reasonable time. So I saw an artist once do that, where he put 2 full pages to one comic book board. And he was like an eBay auction. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy this guy's art just to see what he did. And I bought his, and his artwork was really good, actually, by the way. He was really good. And I just looked at it and I said, this is doable because it's literally the size of a comic book. And I was like, yeah, because I didn't like my big stuff. I didn't like when I drew. And when I drew 10 by 15, 11 by 17, I hated it. You know, because I felt that I put too much in, so that when it got shrunken down, it just looked like mud. To me personally, it looked like mud.
But now, isn't there a problem in working small and blowing it up sometimes?
No, not with the technology. Not with the technology we have today, because you can scan at high res.
This was done actual comic book size. This is a proof here from Devil Flyer #1, where where you know, I get you right into the action where he's sinking already. And he's 71 years old now.
Wow.
He had 2 eye surgeries, one on each eye but when I got this proof, I said, yeah, this is the scale it needs to be. But he actually drew it the size of a comic book, which is smaller than this magazine. I said, I need to have it magazine size because he drew it so small. It needs to be blown up.
But does he scan? Does he use a computer to scan the artwork in?
Well, I had that done.
Okay. So so you can change. The good thing about technology is that you can scan artwork in, and it's like you can bump up the DPI. You can scan it at high res. 600. You scan at 600 DPI. You blow that sucker up. That's like poster size. So if you condense it down, everything's gonna be nice and condensed in.
I did condense it down into my ash can, which came out.
Nice, man. Nice.
Earlier this year. So it's the same thing, but smaller scale.
Right on. Right on.
And there seemed to be more problems with bumping it down than there was, bumping it up.
I like that double page spread right there.
Yeah,
I love that. I love double page spreads. Yeah.
Devil Flyer #1's got like, here's just one scene. Basically, they've got also a little panel there, but basically that's a splash page in the story. But nice. I mean, I did the Jack Kirby thing where you have the splash page of him sinking, right? The full scene. But then you go to him earlier that day overlooking the city in a double page spread over Chicago.
Wow.
So that, he would often do that where you would get like splash page, splash page, or whatever,
I love the fact, one of the things I'm geeking out right now is the fact that you just put up your comic and the style is so different than what I'm doing. And that's what comics is about. It should not be one style that defines everything. It should be.
Was that a problem in comics at one time? Do you think, like in the early 90s?
I'll be honest with you, as somebody who dropped out of comics after like the mid 90s, heading into the 2000s. As much as I love Brian Hitch's work, which I love, I like Alan Davis more, but Brian Hitch, when I start seeing everyone sort of drawing that almost semi-realistic stuff, it kind of weird, it's kind of like it's almost like it starts looking cookie cutter. You don't start seeing interesting styles coming out like Simon Bisley. Where's the Simon Bisleys? Where's Mike Mignola's? Where God, man, there's so many who have these very unique, different kind of styles, approaches.
Garcia Lopez.
Yeah, exactly. Payne. See, because I mean, if you look at a lot of these books, you look at a lot of these books, everybody's pushing for this almost semi-realistic kind of look.
Well, it's like when they build houses today, they flop the design, but it's still the same house throughout the whole thing. I don't want to live in a community
house
like
built.
that.
You see some of these old homes, man, and just the artistry of it, how they build stuff, how things are laid out. Oh man, but that's what I mean. It's anymore. Like we need to come out and start bringing that sense of different styles out in front of the masses. They need to see that we're still here. We're not getting buried by the stuff that's coming out. You can still read that stuff. Like I'm not throwing shade on Brian Hitch. I love Brian Hitch, man. I love his work. I love Alan Davis' work. I'm happy to see that Alan Davis is doing some more stuff out there. But also, there's room for people out there who aren't doing that kind of style. That's all.
Yeah. You know? Exactly. Well, I mean, I never really,
I agree, Apex.
That was the good thing about this was I did everything. Like I had to rethink along the ways. Is there a way that you've had to rethink things about what you want to do? Because I know you see you've got a different approach because you were really in the trenches with the graphic design, with the I mean, you were out there doing commercial stuff, and you collaborated all along the way.
I love that stuff.
I was wanting to be one man army, but then I noticed out of necessity. And I also had my good friend that did the Devil Flyer.
Yeah. Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream of like how it must have been to be in the Marvel bullpen?
Oh, dude.
Like, see, I love that stuff. See, to me,
the only thing that really prevented me from doing that was I wanted to keep my own IP. So I've got I think there's two kinds of creators. There's those that come along rarely that create a lot of characters like Jack Kirby.
Sure.
And he created a lot of characters for DC and Marvel. He had such an imagination. And then you have the John Romita seniors that might create one or two here or there in their whole, or Rich Buckler. What's he known for?
Yeah.
Well, he created Deathlock. What else?
Yeah.
So
but Rich worked on a lot of different books too. Rich worked on a ton of books. But I think that for me, when I think of the Marvel bullpen for myself, why I enjoy working in that kind of element with a bunch of different creative people, it's a learning experience.
Iron sharpens iron.
Because one of the things was when I worked in an animation studio called Upjar Animation. They're not around anymore, but they were incredible. They did a ton of stuff, a lot of MTV stuff during the day when MTV was still videos. But they you know what they did? They did a lot of stuff. Remember Liquid Animation, or what was it? Liquid. Yeah. Remember that? They did some stuff. They did a lot of the commercials in between and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But my stint there, when I worked there, I was like a concept artist and storyboard artist. I was surrounded by the most talented people that I had ever seen. I mean, from directors, sculptors, stop motion animation, like some of the most incredible animators, 2D animation.
And you are picking up tricks along the way, are you not?
Of course. That's what happens when you work in that kind of scenario. You're not by yourself in a room where you're just sort of talking to yourself and your voice is bouncing around the room, but you're surrounded by people who can look at your work subjectively. Because that's one big thing that a lot of us need. We do need sometimes to have people who can look at your work and be like, all right, I see what you're doing there, but maybe if you worked on the backgrounds a little more, maybe if you just try a different angle, not trying to change your style, but just to say, well, I just noticed that you're not putting.
Sometimes you're too close to a project and you can't see it.
Oh, we all are.
Can.
We all are. That's why you have to. I'll tell anything to the people in the chat. Communication. You got to be open to communication. You got to be open to talking to people. And like right now, the stuff I'm working on with King Cryptid. This is my first time.
Criticism.
My first time working with Pete. I've known Peter since, he'll say a little longer, but off and on for probably 12 years, maybe even 13 years. And the only way, the thing about Pete that people don't know is that off and on, Pete, I always saw Pete in a comic book thing. Like we would do cons in Boston, and I was still in advertising. But I would go there and shoot up with a bunch of people and stuff. And one of the things I respected about Pete was that Pete, we all joke, we can all joke and whatever, but man, he was on point with his business. And I respected that. Like when he would talk, it was the stuff that I was hearing from advertising, like guys dealing with multi-million-dollar accounts. Like, we would have Party Friday, everybody would get their booze and stuff. But boy, when work came down, you couldn't even hear a cricket. They'd be like, get the job done. You don't settle for less, get the job done. It goes out there because this is $1 million account. These are millions of dollars. You're not playing around with like chump change. You're playing around with big bucks. So you can't be there's none of this like, I can't, whatever. As soon as you be like, well, my cat ate my homework, they're like, get out of here. And I'm used to that. Like, I like that stuff. I'm like, yeah, tell me if I'm not getting my game up, then kick me off. I don't need to be on the team.
Well, you know, I mean,
and so
you got a good attitude, because a lot of people bow out. They can't take the pressure. And you know what?
And to that, I'm gonna tell you, to those folks, and I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Then that makes room for people like me. If you can't cut it, then you should step away. Just graciously be like, hey, I can't cut it. I remember once I had to train a young lady. She came in, they brought her in because we were going to try to train her to be a commercial illustrator. You know, one of her parents knew somebody. So she came into work on a day. So I'm over, working with her and stuff. And then they were like, okay, I was like, hey, you just do this few layouts. She didn't know what she was doing. And I said, you went to art school, right? And she was like, yeah, but I'm really interested in baking. And I was like, well, why are you here? I was like, who set you up? She's like, well, my mom knew somebody, and they thought that it would be kind of, I should probably get into this. And I was like, no, hold on. No. This is not, I can tell right already, this is not for you. You need to be following what your passion is. If you like cooking, then go out there and be the best baker out there. Be innovative, create some new stuff, but you don't belong here because you're not going to last here. This is not for the faint of heart. This is stuff where you have somebody 1 minute, you could be smiling with an art director or creative director. Next minute, they're just swearing right in your face, like hardcore, like get it done. We need this done. F you. And you're sitting there and you're just boiling. And you're like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What, are you gonna punch me in the face? Now you get blacklisted. Ha, your career is over. Ha. So that's the kind of stuff that I was inundated with. So when I met Pete was talking. Pete was like, yeah, I'm serious. I'm trying about getting my combo. I'm talking about getting alternative going. And I was like, all right, dude. I said, well, you know what? I'm still in advertising. I can't do anything for you, brother. But I wish you well, and I'll see you on as the journey goes on. And that's what happened. Off and on, we would see each other, and I would see some of the progress of alternative. I was like, that's pretty good. He's doing this stuff. He's still in the game. That's how you know the strength of somebody. Is by their actions. By their actions and not their words. By their actions and not their words. If Pete's been in the business for 15 years, he doesn't have to say anything else. All he has to do is just sit back and go, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but 15 years, that's what Alternative says. And I respect that. How can you not respect that, man? Come on.
You were there a few years back when they tried to fucking cancel Pete, man.
That kind of stuff like that. It's like I feel like the stuff that I'm seeing right now is the stuff that I experienced in high school and middle school.
Yeah.
And back in the day, it was different because if I had an issue with somebody and somebody was trying to toss my name around with a big smile on my face, I said, I'll see you after school. And we can talk about it some more. And that's how we grew up. I grew up like that. We'd have our smile and I'll say, let's talk about it. It wasn't like, somebody just calling things out of the wind and you can't find them. You go, okay, I'll catch up with you. And then we can talk about it, And that was it. And we would have our discussion, and the discussion would go one way or it may go another way. But I'm a pacifist. So I'm just saying I'm a pacifist. So I'll try to talk to you. Now, my mom always said there's some hard heads out there, though. Woo, there's some hard heads.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some hard heads.
What's that scene from Pale Rider that I love with Clint Eastwood? A good piece of hickory don't hurt nobody. That's a great scene, man. When he says that, a good piece of hickory
unless you're on the receiving end of it.
Hey, look it. Like I said, that's all I gotta say. There's some hard heads out there. Hard heads.
Yeah.
Hey,
so where do you see yourself in 5 years if God gives you 5 years, Frankie?
I'm gonna be doing comic books, man. I'm an artist. If I leave this world, knock on wood, then I want people to know that I'm an artist. Like this crazy dreadhead guy with a blonde little shag thing stuff right here, talking all this madness and craziness, that I stayed true to my word. And to the people in the chat, I really appreciate you coming here and hanging out and stuff and listening to us rant on. But that's what I want. I want on my thing. I told my wife that. I said, that's all I actually told my wife, I said, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you can cremate me and then put me into the mixture for a mold for a transformer.
That'd be cool.
And then I do me as a turtle. Like I'll be a turtle and if you need to talk to me, just transform me into a robot and just, have communication with me, that kind of thing. Is that weird? Is that strange? I don't.
A little bit.
So. Is it? Well, what's his name? Mark Grunwald was ink, man. What about that? No one didn't think that was strange.
Well, what about having yourself mixed into a pot of ink, Frankie?
Oh man, I know. And just someone just draws me out.
Damn, we ran out of Frankie juice.
Yeah, we ran out. There's no more juice.
I'm going to read what you sent me, Frankie, so it doesn't go to waste. Kaijus and Cowboys, a 22-page sci-fi Western monster comic, 12-issue series set on an alien world in a far-off future. God. An homage to the Bronze Age of monster comics. Ooh. The overall story arc deals with the last remnants of humanity aboard a gigantic space ark controlled by an AI called Father Mind. While humans sleep, the chosen planet is being terraformed by groups of robots. Unfortunately for the bots, the planet is infested by kaiju and help me with this other Daikaiju.
Daikaijus, yes.
Daikaiju,
yes.
Okay. That constantly rampage through the various settlements, towns, cities, destroying everything in their path, as they will tend to do. Enter the Hunter Bot, one of many specially designed robots programmed to fight and kill those monsters. The question is, who is right and who is wrong in this tale of colonization?
Oh, dude, look at that voice. Damn. That voice is Audible Books. Please call them. Audible Books. Dude. You know, actually, you know what? I'll hit you guys up. My wife's mom, she hooked me up with Audible Books, right? A subscription. Dude, I finally am listening to the Dark Tower series.
Oh, I love
my God.
audio books. I love audio.
Oh my God. That series, like we watched the movie. See, my wife, she read the series of the Dark Tower. So she was bummed, man. She was bummed when the movie. I'm sitting there because I don't know anything about it. So I'm like, it's all right. I'm like, whatever, you know. So now I'm listening to it and I'm like, wow, they fell so far, man.
All right, I got one question for you, Frankie.
Ooh. Oh,
what did your wife think of the ending of the Dark Tower?
Oh, she hasn't talked to me about anything about it.
All right. She's
refusing to speak to me, so I'm not hearing. Yeah, I'm at right now. I can tell you right now. I'm listening to the part where Rowan. I'm on the third book, and Rowan is telling his story when he was a young kid, and he's with Susan, the girl. He's telling a story when he's a young guy. So I'm writing that part right now. So don't spoil. No spoilers.
Cool. I'm not saying another word, bro.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'm a huge fan of Stephen King. I got to meet Stephen King once. Oh, this is a great story. When I lived in Boston, I was living in the back Bay area. A friend of mine was working there used to be a movie theater across from the Prue or Prudential, but we call it the Prue. So my friend George, he's working there, right? And he goes, "Yo, Frank," and I'm like, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Dude, I'm telling you right now, the movie's gonna be ending whatever time. Your favorite author is right now. He's watching the movie right now." And I said, "Dude, don't be BSing me, man. Come on." And he said, "Dude, get your butt over here." I was booking, man. I flew. I had a copy of Carrie, and there was another book, and I can't think of the other one. And it's the books are almost disintegrating, but I was like booking. I ran across it, and then I waited. And my friend he was an usher or whatever. And he was buying the thing, and he was in the movie theater, and he looks at me, and I'm like, "Dude, where's he at? Where's he at?" And he's like, "Yo, man." He said, "Give him a second. They're coming out right now." So I was like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden, Stephen King comes walking out. He had I think he had watched the game at the Fenway. So he was with this other guy, and he was tall, man. That's all I remember was he was tall. So what I did was I just said, screw it. I'm a young kid. I ended up walking beside him as he came out. I just started walking up beside him, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And he put his arm around me. He said, "Hey, kid, what's up?" And I said, "Yeah, you're Stephen King, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Stephen King." And I said, "Well," I was like, "Well, I just want to tell you that you're my favorite author, and I remember your books when I was in high school, man. And I just want to tell you you're incredible." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I said, "Would you mind signing my book?" And he said, "Sure, I'll sign your book for you." So he signed both books for me. And then he said, "Well, just continue doing, whatever." He gave me the whole spiel about just, be a good kid, continue your dreams, kid. Go on, fly bird, that kind of thing. And then as he's walking away, my friend was like, "Hey, can you sign my thing?" And Stephen King was like, "Nah, dude." And he was just out. And he just walked away. And that was it. And I was like, oh my God, that was amazing.
You got to get up in that grill.
Well, that's one thing that I do have about me is that I have no shame Yeah, I don't have no shame walking up on somebody. I mean, what's the worst they can say? No.
You heard him,
and I'll just have a
shame.
stupid and you know, if what you say no, and I just have a stupid smile on my face, like that's I mean, you know, it is what it is. Not like I haven't had that stupid smile on my face before when the door was slammed in my face.
Yeah.
Like wham. Okay. Guess I'll go to the next person.
Frankie,
right.
who did your music? Who did your music on your trailer?
I did. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell
did.
everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody. Well, no, I'm sorry. No, let me take that back. That was actually that's Matthew. Matthew did that one. Sorry.
Really?
What Matthew did was he did a version and he did the music, and I don't know who he chose for the music. But then I took his video and added the lightning in there to CapCut. I've been using CapCut.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's play your trailer one more time for people. Okay?
Oh, look at this guy. The addiction. Let's feed the addiction.
We'll cut out Matthew at the end, though.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Matthew. I'll tell you when he talked, I was actually surprised, man, because I was he was very clear, very concise, and I liked that. I was like, yeah, there you go, man.
I just noticed your hunter has dreadlocks.
Oh, I wonder how that came about.
Yeah, I wonder. Wow. Okay.
Am I living vicariously through my character?
I think you are. Yeah.
Oh, most definitely. Come on. Most definitely. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, baby.
Nice. Oh man, I like that. I'm waiting for somebody. I'm waiting for one of those wonderful fans out there to make me a nice duster, a B-Wins duster.
Oh yeah,
cool. I know. That'd be nice. I'm just putting it out there. Plant the seed for one of those wonderful fans out there with those skills.
Just throwing it out there in the universe.
Oh man, hey, you got to plant the seed. You know,
I love that the lettering at the end starts to flicker with the lightning, like
I did that. Lock. That's the stuff that I did. Yeah. So it was like it was a collaborative where he started it off, and then I took it and I sort of dressed it up with some more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Job. That's the great thing about when you're in a collaborative. Like when you're working with different people, you know, one person brings a little bit of ingredients, another person brings another ingredients, and now you got a meal. Oh, I need a duster. I agree, Apex, man. It's like I'm working. Hey, well, you know what? All I can say, I got to put it out to the fans. Fans get behind Kaijus and Cowboys. We can start make some money. Then I'll definitely would throw some money towards some a custom duster and with the hat and everything.
I'm gonna do a Frankie B, and I'm gonna say we need to have you on Apex's where I'm co-host and he's host. If you can schedule that with Apex, we need to have you on sometime, and do that one and draw you talk some more Kaiju and Cowboys with you.
Excellent, man. You know, I mean, I just the fact that we're even talking about Kaijus and that kind of stuff, because again, it is a niche. I know that it's a niche in the scheme of superheroes and horror.
One of my favorite niches.
Now,
I mean,
have you considered chasing the manga crowd? Not with the artwork, but if you could tap in to the Asian market that likes Kaijus, you might have a runaway bigger than you ever thought.
If they're looking at the comic book and they happen to get over there, of course, I like that. But if you're saying if I should be trying to do it to cater,
no, not at all. Okay. What I'm saying is, if you could tap into that Asian market, because look, Bruce Lee came over here and did Green Hornet, and he was the biggest thing in Hong Kong. he was the biggest thing in Asia at that time.
Sure.
He was like, "Ooh, we got representation."
Oh, I would love to get over into the European. I would love to get in. Let's just say my mind is always global. I've never been a person who just saw like the small village. Like, okay, I just want to work in the village and whatever. No. I ideally, before I leave this planet, I would love to have my stuff overseas, abroad, UK, Australia, Africa, please. Anybody who can get their hands on it, so immediately they just want to read it. That I'm all for that. Please put that out there, please.
If you can fish hook them, if you can reel them in for an issue, maybe you got somebody for life, you know.
But then it goes back to the whole thing of it goes right back to that whole thing of process. Because let's be honest, you can't look at the success of the Ninja Turtles without looking at where they first began. And I think that's the when I tell people, I'm like, you can't look at well, again, I think that when people get, I've seen shows where people get sad, whatever, because they look at Ethan Van Sciver and some of these other people are doing, but you're not looking at the fact that these people have been in the industry for years. And people are buying their stuff because they grew up on their stuff. So they have there's a lot of headway that they have. And so that's why people, they already have stuff. You're literally looking at them at the next level that, they've reached this level. Now they're going a next level. Mm-hmm. You should be realistic. You should be realistic and say, look, my journey is going to start from this point. And all I can do is just keep building from that point. And if you get one reader, then that's great. You get one reader. Now you get two. Now you get five. You begin building slow. If you can get, it's surprising.
This is my seed. This is my acorn, which will become the mountain. Become the giant.
But you gotta be realistic. Be realistic. Don't put all that extra stuff in your head that somehow like, okay, I want to get $30,000 and all this crazy nonsense. Work on your book. Be passionate about your book and put it out there and then let people see it. And I'm telling you, most times people will see that passion. And that's honestly, I always felt that that's what people kind of buy into with artists. Like when you go to a gallery, you see stuff, you look at the stuff on the wall, and I've done a few galleries, but it's really the artist. Like when you see the artist, they're talking and stuff like that, you go, oh, okay, listen to me. Oh, all right, cool. All right. So now I'm going to buy a piece. I'm gonna buy this piece of artwork because this artist did that artwork, and so I feel like I'm getting a little piece of that. Mm-hmm. So same thing like your comic book, a comic book when you get it, you feel like you're getting a piece of what that person who worked on that, and if they're consistent with it, now you're like, okay, this is like Chris Claremont. I didn't know Chris Claremont personally, but boy, I felt the connection when I was reading those X-Men books.
Cyberfrog is my favorite turtle.
Oh man, is that like Gamera? Where's Gamera? No love for Gamera? Oh no, let's talk Kaijus. Gamera is my favorite turtle.
Have you seen every Godzilla movie?
Gamera has always been my
favorite. Have you seen every Godzilla movie?
Just about. But again, I always tell people that I grew up on the Showa era, and the Showa era is that more like the early stuff in the 70s and the 80s and stuff. There was a point where I sort of got out of Godzilla later on, just because for me, I felt that Godzilla was becoming much. It was almost like you could tell it was on a set. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. Like when you're watching the movies, Godzilla was getting bigger and he's getting more stiffer. And it looks like it's on a set, and then all of a sudden he releases this massive beam of energy, and then he kills the bad guy, and end the story. Whereas if you look at the early movies, the monsters rolled around, they battled one another,
they had a big fight.
There was something that you could root for. See, I'm one of those old school people where I love the Lone Ranger, I love Green Hornet, I love Two-Fisted Justice. I love heroes I can root for. I don't need my hero to be so powerful that they can punch a hole through a planet. That to me is boring. What's exciting to me, well, actually, one of my favorite characters is Ben Grimm, because I love the Thing. I love the fact that he's a guy who scraps. He's a nice guy, but if you rub him the wrong way, he'll scrap with you. And to me, that's the stuff that I kind of grew up with, and I love that. And you can root for these characters. But if a character's so omnipotent, then how can I root for you? Because you have the power to destroy galaxies. Well, okay, that's the end of the story. One swipe on my hand, and all of a sudden the galaxy's gone. So when I saw Godzilla become to this level, I sort of tuned out. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. So now I'm glad that Legendary, what Legendary's been doing has been fantastic. Because I love to see Godzilla and now Kong too, where these characters get their butt kicked.
Although the Crystal X was a little much in the last movie.
Yeah, it was.
The Crystal X.
The scale he used one of
the scale, right?
Scales
well, I the one movie that I think I may watch again that I haven't watched in a long time was Shin Godzilla.
Yeah,
and I remember watching it.
That whole one.
I remember watching it and I couldn't really get through it because while I was watching it and it just when he started firing beams out of his back, man.
Yeah.
Well, like when he turned into like the worm creature for a while. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, I love the fact that's one of the things I loved about Gamera. Gamera was I always considered Gamera Ronin, while Godzilla was more of like this I don't know, like an emperor kind of like he would just strut around, fire his beam blast, and then everybody else would kind of bow down. But to me, a Ronin is like like Lone Wolf and Cub, or like Lone Wolf. Somebody goes out and they're in the trenches, they get the job done, they got to fight, it gets nasty, but somehow they prevail through it. That's how Gamera was to me. Gamera was a Ronin.
Frankie, I got to show you this Gorgo.
Oh man.
Have you seen this? That they're coming out with
I actually was talking to Titanic Creation years ago. I did a one for their character. I actually drew a piece of artwork for those guys. So it's funny to see them at the level that they're doing now. I mean, they're doing great with their toy designs. Oh yeah, I remember Gorgo.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And $99.99. I mean, I'm sorry. Not $99.99. For $100 pre-order. It releases October 31st on Halloween, which I think's great marketing. I mean, just the level of detail, 26 points of articulation, and you get you get a baby Gorgo, the undersea sub bell, the jet squadron, I guess a jet. You get Big Ben now. I think.
Wow.
Are they getting ready to do Big Ben? They're only 3 away from getting Big Ben, and at $750 they unlock the light up eyes.
Wow, I'm amazed by these guys because they stuck in there. But this is
and they're putting comics with their figures.
I mean, I remember them way back when, where they were just like they were doing the same thing. They started slow, and they were trying to do their figure for their main character and stuff. And I drew like a fan piece for them and stuff because I was like, yeah, dude, right on. You guys are doing it and whatever. So it's kind of cool to see the level where they're at now and how much further they can go. This is what I'm talking about, the progress where you can go, wow, look, you came from this point and now you're at this point where you're selling, like he's doing a license for Gorgo.
Right.
How crazy is that?
That's amazing, dude.
That is amazing.
Frankie, can I ask you who was the main character that you did back in the day? Was it like the kind of Godzilla looking dude with the icy spines and stuff?
Yes, that's what I did. And I actually have that figure. And I actually have that figure. I actually have that figure. Yeah. I talked to him. Well, here's the thing. Originally, I was working with Sunstone Games on Colossal Kaiju Combat. Because I get people off and on. They ask me, they go, well, do you know this guy who worked on these cards and for Colossal Kaiju Combat? And I was like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the guy who worked on like 6 sets of cards. God knows how many numbers, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna pause this for a second. Just give me a second.
All right.
Oh, look at the icon there.
Thanks.
We'll blow his icon.
Let me show you some of the goodies.
Look at that.
So you guys can see.
He's got to find it.
Agent Zero says Gamera is his favorite kaiju. I like Gamera a lot.
Yeah.
The newer Gameras are pretty neat. I gotta check some more of those out.
See, look what I'm gonna show you what you guys have started now. See, this is what happens. Now I gotta start showing my stuff. All right, check it out.
Come on, Frankie.
Let me show you. So originally, Kaijus and Cowboys. Jesus, Frank. Sunstone Games had Colossal Kaiju Combat, and I don't know. I think there's too much of a glare, but let me see.
Wow. Yeah.
But this is me. This is what it was they had a video game. They did this big crowdfunder for a Kaiju video game that they were gonna do. Right?
Is that standard trading card size? They look a little wide.
Yes. No,
they are
standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, I'll pull some out. That'll be better, so you can see. So technically, let's see. There you go.
All the stats. Yeah.
See, come on, focus.
Right. It's focused. We're seeing it.
You can see it good? Okay, good.
Yeah, it's seeing pretty good. Yeah. There we go.
So what happened was they were doing a video game, right? And they had all these people. That the whole concept was that they were gonna have fans who they contributed to the campaign. They would have their characters in this video game or something. They worked out some kind of deal. But anyway, as they were working on the video game, which it costs a lot of money to do video games. I don't know if anybody knows that. So in between, what happened was I pitched to the owner because I was on Facebook and all these places, and I just was drawing artwork. So I started drawing their characters. So what happened was, I started drawing their characters, and I was making a pitch because I was like, man, this looks really fun. And I'm doing all these, I would like to do more Kaiju related stuff, whatever. So I said, well, how am I going to pitch to these guys? Well, I got to speak louder than words, right? So I started doing sketch cards, drawings, and he saw it and fell in love with it. And he said, okay, I'll hire you to do cards, and what we'll do is a card game. Yeah. So and in the card game, what I also will do is have the fans tell me what characters are their own IP, and then you draw them, Frank. So I didn't create any of these characters. I just drew them.
Yeah.
So these were created by the fans. Yeah,
Frankie, I'd like to get your take. I'd like to. I know you're a busy man, but I'd like to put my order in for you to draw my Kaiju, a character that's in Devil Flyer #1 called Smolder.
Oh man.
Because
I am booked so solid right now, man.
Well, that's all right. You got months. You got months and months and months.
All right, fair enough.
I'll send you some reference, dude.
These are the new cards that you'll get on the campaign right now.
Oh, look how colorful that is. Look how colorful that is. Wow.
Nice. 2023. And we always have them on the back, so we just keep them pretty simple. This was from.
Is that an active campaign? Oh,
it's right on right now.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry, he switched from this other work that he did to this. Okay.
It moved too fast. It was like the Flash.
It moved too fast for me, Frankie.
We're like in an alternate universe right now. That's alternate Frank. Can you please bring back Frankie, the other Frankie? Well, I'm actually Franklin.
Yeah.
I'm Franklin.
You love to draw. You love to draw Kaiju, and I have. He doesn't appear till Devil Flyer #2. We've not launched #1 yet, but you got all the time in the world to work on it. But it's just like at the end of the at the end, he sees the Kaiju that he's going to battle in issue 2. And I've had a couple of artists already depict it, work on it, but I want to get your take on it. How would you do it?
So you don't have, did you have them do concept art? And you so you would need concept art. You would want somebody to come up with a look.
Well, I draw it a certain way. I've had other artists draw it their version. I'd like to see your version. Yeah. Because
if you already have it, because again, it's like I've run into times with people where people try to, they ask me, hey, I'm going to commission you and stuff. And I always am clear with them. I'm like, well, you do understand that doing concept art is a price unto itself than just doing art. That's it's like kind of like what I'm doing with Pete. Like I'm doing King Cryptid. So Pete already has the design.
Because you're developing the character. Right.
Well, I'm not developing the character. No, he already has the character developed. What he needed from me was he sent sketches to me, and he just needed me to draw it to make sure that I stay in the, the circle, to stay in the lines of what he's already laid
in the ramp.
So to me, that's not me concepting. That's just me making sure that I follow the standard that he's laid down. And
what is like any other genius? Yeah. What is the genius of Peter Simeti in your estimation?
I think the genius of Peter is that first off, I think that Peter he's a great order orator, like in explaining and talking. Like he does listen and he does talk, and that's one of the key things that you have to have. He's like every other human being out there. You know, we all have our tempers. You know, and it's so funny because I think it's my wife's always like, people ask her, they go, Frank doesn't get mad, and she's like, oh yeah. Therapy helped me. Let me just say that, and I'm proud to say that therapy helped me, because if I didn't have therapy years ago, I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking to you right now. There's a lot of stuff that happened in my life.
Well, one of the life lessons that helped me most, Frankie, was don't take it personal.
Well, yeah, but again, if you're coming from a standpoint, if you don't have a true understanding, if you're not in understanding with yourself, then clearly, you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't have an understanding of it, or they haven't really asked that question about themselves.
It really
and they act out.
With you.
And they act out. They'll just act out.
Yeah,
it
really starts with you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Does.
Otherwise, if you're at odds with yourself, you're going to be at odds with the whole universe around you.
So going back to what about Pete, what I like about Pete is that I love the fact that he does have a strong sense on business. He has a strong sense on business, but he maintains that sense of like, the wonderment of creating something, which I think that's close to what Stan Lee. See, I think that when I saw Stan Lee, I didn't see Stan Lee as just a jovial guy sitting there and he's just like, spinning off True Believers and all this stuff and whatever. I saw something much more deeper. I saw a person who was clearly passionate about what he was doing, but also he was injecting a vast number of other people who could care less about this. He was injecting them, giving them a sort of spotlight into this world, this thing, and that they could look at it and go, wow, I might be interested in getting into this. That's what I saw with Stan Lee, and that's what I think what Pete has. You know, he has a little bit of that sense of like, you know, to be able to put it out there so that people can sort of bring people in who don't, I won't say care about it, but they don't know about it. Like right now, people only know a lot of comic book stuff from the pop culture stuff. They only know from the MCU movies and things like that. They don't really. There's many of them who don't understand. They don't know. They don't understand that Guardians of the Galaxy came from a comic book. You know, they don't understand that. Only the people who have been down it for years and years, they understand it. But here's the problem: we're all getting old. We're all aging out.
Yeah,
we're either finances or just death.
I find myself screaming at the movie screen, stick with the source material. You'll never go wrong. It's good stuff.
But the reality is like, look, we're getting older, man. So say what happens, say in the next generation or so, we leave this planet, we're gone. Then what's going to be left? Yeah. If no one else is picked up the thing and continues that thing. We may be. I don't even try to think about that because that would be so heartbreaking. Because you're talking about over, say, from when comic books first came. You said 1939, right? So 1940, right? When comics really started kicking in.
The 30s is when mid 30s is when they started actually producing new material and charging a dime for it, and that was National Comics.
So how many years? Think about how many years of that, if that just suddenly just snuffed out, like it's just gone, like all of a sudden they're just like, we don't care now, we just want to do this kind of way.
Well, when they went all SJW and stuff like that, they started undercutting right at their anniversary year, like 80 years or 85 years, all in the last few years. They've right when they hit their pinnacle, and then they're having business problems where if comics are bringing in $1 billion a year, and that's with manga included in it. That's with manga included in it. So you got these executives that if you don't earn, $60-80 billion a year, we're going to sell you off, or we're going to snuff you out. And people thought that was going to happen first with Marvel, with Disney, but it didn't. And then also the sell-off of DC Comics, and it hasn't happened to either yet, but it may coming down the road.
The biggest question I always have for people is, I always say, what is your expectation? What is your expectation for things? Like, are you expecting Marvel or DC to somehow change what they're doing?
No.
Yeah. See, because I think that's an important question, because if you're actually really expecting them to change what they're doing, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
A few years ago, Frankie, I was excited about the Milestone relaunch of all Black creators.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, Milestone. It's sad that they waited till most of them died off before they relaunch it.
Yeah.
And that where they could partake in some of the booty, their family, the bounty of that. But anyway, they relaunched it. I had all 5 number 1 issues. They can't just come out with 1 or 2. They got to stretch my dollar, And I had all 5 issues ready to buy them. I opened up the first one just to take a look. It's got Black Lives Protesters. I said, do I want to read this in 20 years? No. I put it back. I put all 12.
Yeah.
I put
then
all.
Then I tell to anybody out there, please, if you are that upset about it, then don't buy it. Because then that's the only way that they'll listen to you. If you really wanted to change, if people really wanted to change Marvel. I said this before. I was on someone's show, and I personally, they didn't say nothing to me personally, but I don't know if it offended them or not. But I said, look, man, I said, I'm gonna show a scenario. You're sitting up here talking about all the woes of the comic books and whatever, and talk how bad they are, and Marvel and DC and whatever. But it's kind of hypocritical if I see you wearing a Batman shirt logo.
Yeah.
It's kind of hypocritical if you're gonna be talking and you're saying they're doing all this bad stuff, but then you got Funkos all around. I'm not being a hypocrite. I still buy Funkos. I still watch the movies. I still whatever. I'm just saying that I'm going to be putting my own stuff out, and then I'll build my audience from there. And my feeling is that if I'm being straight up with everybody here, if I truly wasn't happy about any of this stuff, then I wouldn't get it. You wouldn't hear nothing. It'd be chirps. I just wouldn't get it. And you know who will feel it? They'll feel it eventually if enough people wouldn't buy the stuff. If everyone just said, you know what,
exactly,
tired of it, I'm not gonna buy a Batman shirt, I'm not gonna buy Funko figures, I'm not gonna buy whatever such. You best believe there'd be some changes quick, because the dollar is what guides that. It guides everything, the decisions that they're doing. If you're sitting up there dreaming that somehow they have this decision, they're gonna be like, well, the fans said such and such, and we should really be caring. No, because guess what? The same fans that are arguing about this, they're wearing the apparel. I wouldn't change. Honestly, if I was somebody in charge, like being up there getting paid money, why would you change if somebody's wearing your apparel? Yeah. What would be your motivation? It's almost like I remember boxers. I was watching, you watch a fight, you sit there. Back in the day, boxers were, they barely making money. But when they won, they were like, okay, you got the prize, right? How does a boxer today, have that drive when if you get knocked out, you still get a couple of mil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what's your drive then? There's nothing. You're going to be like, hey, I just got hit in the face a couple of times and I'm still walking away with like 5 mil. Yeah. He gets 10. I get 5. What's your motivation?
There's not any motivation to really get a fight. Anything on the line.
There's no hunger. There's no hunger for it. Really. So who's the hungry people right now? We're the hungry people. The indie market right now is hungry. We're hungry. We're getting on the field. We want this stuff bad. We want it. So now we got to get stuff out there. Now for the indie people out there, I say, put out your best work, 200%, nothing less than 200%. That means from your customer service. That means to getting your book out. Wherever your style is, let it be your style. Whatever the message you're trying to do, let it be your message. But it can't be. You cannot be falling into these weird holes where you're just like, not getting stuff out to people at a reasonable time. I say reasonable, whatever that reasonable means to you, you choose. But and stuff like that. That's how you win. You win by putting stuff out. Actions speak louder than words. Alternatives doing it. Alternatives doing it. If people can say anything they want to say about Pete, and trust me, he doesn't need me to defend him. But he's getting books out. Yeah. And when I grew up on the hood, man, that's what mattered. There's a lot of talkers out there. People can talk the game, man. But it's that guy, it's the person out there that's doing it, that's actually making it happen. That's the one that goes, hell yeah, hey, he's getting it done. And that's what my mindset is. I get stuff done. I don't just talk the talk. You walk the walk. You get it done. And that's another one of my teachers. He was the same teacher, the military guy. I remember working with him at an agency. And I remember I started doing my God, I'm going to be all late and stuff. And he looked at me and he said, Washington. He said, go out there, take a walk. Splash first. He said, splash some water on your face, take a walk, get a coffee, and you get back. And when you get back in here, you get it done. And ever since he said that, it's like a mantra in my head. Anytime I feel like I'm starting to have the little, he started getting that little whatever.
Yeah.
Get it done. All I hear is it just penetrates my skull. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get it done.
What
is
marriage? What has marriage taught you?
Oh, I love marriage, man. I love it. This is my second marriage. The first marriage wasn't the right one for me.
Right.
The first marriage was a fantasy marriage. I consider that fantasy because it was I was number 3 for her. And for me, I think, and when I look back at it, I think this is why I go back to the whole Joneses thing, because a good friend of mine, he also worked as a illustrator.
I was a number 3 once.
He ended up getting married. He ended up getting married, and I think honestly, seeing him get married, I think something part of me was like, I need to get married. And at the time, I was doing really well. I got a house. I had the vehicles and stuff, and I just felt that it was part of the thing. Get a house, you get married, whatever. But that wasn't the reality. And I had to learn the hard lesson. That you can't go by the fantasy. The reality is that you need to be with somebody who you truly can connect with and whatever, and be able to.
How do you view? What would you call a successful life?
Successful life is like just happiness. Whatever that makes you happy. Yeah. Be what it is. Be the best.
That seems a little simple to me. If I was a child.
I don't think it needs to be
child murderer, and that makes me happy.
Then you got some serious problems, because if you're a child murderer and you start doing that, then you know where that's going to possibly lead you. So that's a whole nother kind of happiness. I ain't messing with that happiness.
Yeah.
But
on a serious note, I think they're happy. Yeah, because I think sometimes people complicate stuff. Like, well, you start heaping all these extra stuff, and really, it's almost like this. Here's another good profound thing from Frankie B. I remember back in the day when I used to hang down at Boston Commons, and I remember sitting on a bench, and I saw a squirrel, and it's so funny, trying to get a nut, and I said, "All right, I'm watching the squirrel, right?" And the squirrel was trying to get across the street to get to the park to safety, and I said, "Wow, that squirrel is trying to just get across the street without being hit." Right. Just to get a goddamn nut in a tree. What am I complaining about? That's how simple life is. We as human beings, we complicate everything. We pile on all this extra unnecessary crap. It's like, do what makes you happy. Whatever. If his happiness is you want to be a baker, fine. You want to be a writer, but be the best. Then focus your energy. Try to devote your energies toward that. Now, other things is, hey, you're in a relationship. Then you know that you're gonna have to give some of that energy to that relationship. But again, that spreads out from it. First, the happiness comes because you're happy with yourself. So you're doing something that you love. Now, all that extra stuff comes along. Like for me, my wife, she also she's a writer, and she's put out a few books and stuff. But she's a transcriptionist. That's her job. She does transcriptions.
Oh wow!
And she's good at it. Yeah, she's really good at it and stuff. That's cool. So we both have our own studios in our apartment. Yeah. And
does she help you edit? Does she help you edit?
No, she doesn't help me. No, she doesn't even mess around with this. She reads the books, and I do let her look at stuff. I do let her look at it. So she'll she's usually, honestly, she's the voice of reason. Like if I start having an emotional whatever, if I read something on Twitter and I get emotional, and old Frank starts boiling up the heat, because old Frank is very old school, where I'm very like the old school of like I will walk up to you, that kind of thing. Like I remember once I had a little indifference with somebody, and this person was like trying to like not see me for some reason, so I was like, I gotta go see what's going on. I'm gonna go talk to him, and I tracked him down, and I went to go talk to him. That's how I grew up. That's old school way. I'm not saying like I was gonna fight him. Fight doesn't even come in my head. It's just
you're gonna have a conversation.
I'm gonna have a conversation. That's what that's what I know. So for me, if I'm on Twitter and I see something and I go, it makes me feel a little iggy, then I talk to my wife about it.
A little iggy.
That's a little iggy. I like to say iggy. You feel the blood pressure start boiling a little bit. It's like the heat starts rising. That's when I'm like, Ooh, I'm gonna get away from this. Let me go talk to her. And then she actually, she's a voice of reason. She's like, Frank, just chill out, whatever. Because then I'm like, all right, I start lifting my weights, I start pumping a little bit. Like, all right, I gotta do something. I gotta move
Work
around.
that aggression.
And then oh yeah, man. You got you. For me, my artwork is my therapy. That's why I tell people, I'm like, you look at my artwork, that'll give you a little in-scope to how I feel. I draw monsters, giant monsters that cause massive damage. If that is not like a keyhole in my psyche, I may smile and I do it. I'm happy.
Frankie?
I'm happy.
Oh, wow.
But think about the mass destruction that Godzilla and Gamera caused. You know, Gamera trying to save people and buildings. People are still
burn it all down. Other people are talking about it. Burn it all down.
I'm like, why?
Frankie does it every day with his artwork.
I'm like, why are we even having a conversation? Just blast them, man. Be done with it. Move on. How many other people in this world?
Nobody pay attention to
that's how Godzilla deals with it. It's easy peasy, man. Like that scene from Kong. Remember in Kong when the first scene? That's great when the guys are coming and they got those choppers and stuff. Oh, that's a great scene. It's like also you see them just flying with they're flying with their with the copters. And all of a sudden,
and he just starts dragging them down and shit.
Yeah, a friggin' tree just comes and takes him out. Kong didn't sit there to be like, I'm figure out what's going on. He's like, you guys started dropping bombs, man, in my house. He's like, I know how to handle this. He's like, I know how to have a conversation with you.
He goes to grab the first one, and it like fucking cuts his fingers and shit. And he's like,
that first one is a trick.
And he just punches the shit out of it. He's just like,
and he knows that it's gonna release the skull crushers. It's gonna wake them up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He knows something the humans don't know. You know,
his first conversational piece was that spear, that tree. That's the first thing. That first scene when that tree comes flying and it just takes that copter out, man. It's like
I was like, so
here I am.
I said,
he's like, here I am.
A Kong movie that I didn't know the ending of because all the other times he died. You know.
Well. Truth be told, that Kong is actually that Kong is actually the more from the Japanese Kong. Did you ever watch the old Kong from the old Japanese ones?
Oh yeah.
That's technically what they did was they took King Kong. Yeah. And then they made him kind of cool. You know, and he's fighting like a Mecha Kong, a mechanical King Kong. They just made him more cooler.
Yeah, Mecha Kong was awesome, dude. Just like Mecha Godzilla.
If we go back to the whole thing about manga and Western comic books, if anything, they learned so much from American comic books and that they were able to create a whole new industry based, and that was manga. So if I was going to say, if I was going to learn something from manga, I would say, let's start going back to creating escapism stories. If we're independent, make sure your stories are out there. Make sure that there are things that, you know, where people can literally go to get away from all this other stuff. Like you can actually close the window from all the shouting and everything and be like, all right, I'm gonna just read this story about this world and there's these robots.
And you can still have, you know, realism and art and everything. But
the amazing thing,
fictional story, right?
We watch
is yours an all ages book?
Why don't I say this? My book is a homage to Bronze Age comics. So whatever Bronze Age comics was, whatever group that was for, that's what our book is for.
PG-13.
Because to me, I'm telling you right now, that just hearing that about whether it's age and that just that's one of those moments where I feel like because when I was reading comics when I was 10, no one came along was asking me, was that a kid comic? I was reading Punisher.
Yeah.
I was reading Conan. Yeah. No one ever asked me that question. And rightfully so, they shouldn't have to.
Was there ever a time you were embarrassed? Like, I'm an older man now, and I'm still reading comics?
Nah.
Oh, hell no.
I remember like in middle school, I was hanging with my friends, and girls would be like, they weren't even interested. But I was more interested in my comics. Even if a girl did dig me or whatever, I was like, man, I'm into it. I remember having the New Mutants, issue #1, Bob McCloud, his work. And I remember some girl was trying to talk to me and stuff, and I wasn't even hearing it. I was like, nah, hold on a second. I just got this comic.
This is my girl.
Yeah.
In my early teens, I would bring girls home and take them up in my room, and I had all my old Universal Monster glow in the dark heads and hands.
I'll be truthful with you. I think I was one of those cool nerds. I think I always tell people I was like Marty McFly.
If she was cool, then it was all right. If she wasn't, then I wrote her up.
Yeah,
I'm the Marty McFly kind of guy where
you
I'm
would
cool
like
enough
to
where
think you were.
I can talk. Hey, I did my partying, man. I was never a wallflower. Come on, man. I wasn't a wallflower.
I was the cool nerd.
Frankie was only a couple years behind us.
My pocket protector
there was a lot
clean.
There was a lot of dudes that I knew that did a lot of like dudes pumping weights and stuff, and they would bust out how they loved I knew a dude, man, who was like
he can do that in prison. That doesn't impress me.
Yeah, but he loved comics and whatever. But you know what I'm talking about. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy. This guy's trying. Look at him. 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 This is what I would do in school. This is what I would do to school. Some dude come up, I'd be like, look at this guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. It's all good, brother. It's all good, man.
I knew talking to you was gonna be a good time, Frankie.
Dude, I keep it real. I don't know. I told my wife, I said, I don't know why anyone would like me, man, because I just keep stuff real. I'll sit there and I don't know why anyone would like me, because I'm not the kind of dude that was always hanging around with people, man. I'll be like, all right, like I'm like this, like people would want to hang with me, but then I get my moments where I just want to be to myself. So I'd be like, yo, I'm stepping, and I'll just leave. I'll just be like, I'm out. I'll see you when I see you. And that's the kind of person that I am. Now, I'm upfront about it. I don't try to dance around it. I don't try to create some kind of illusion of who I am. This is just me, man. And if you don't like me, fine. I'm cool. I'm not gonna sweat. As long as you ain't stepping to me and talking nonsense, then we're good. But if you're somebody who I can have a good conversation with, and I feel like I can get some nuggets, some knowledge from you, then let's hang, brother, sister. Whatever. I don't care. I want to learn stuff. I'm on this planet where this isn't the Frankie show. This is humanity, man. How am I gonna grow as a human? How am I gonna, at the end of my life, have these cool white dreads hanging, and I can be philosophizing on a mountain, philosophizing?
Hey, Frankie, you got.
I gotta get that knowledge, man. I'm trying to get the knowledge.
You gotta get you a pet tiger, brother.
Do you know what I want? I would like a Galapagos turtle, man, a tortoise.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
200 years old.
I would love to. Just sit there and just chill with him, man. Be like, all right, man, tell me about knowledge, man.
Just hang out.
He's like, well, first off, you get just chill, and there you go.
Yeah,
that's all I would probably hear from the turtle. Just chill, just relax, man.
So what was up with Atlantis, bro?
Yeah, I know. What was up with Atlantis?
It sank. I can show you right where it's at.
Nice. All right,
that would be a sea turtle.
We've been yapping. How long have we been yapping, man? What are we yapping?
It's been a while, man.
Well, you came in late, Frankie. Come on.
I did, man. I'm saying, and I apologize about
40
that.
seconds.
Dude, but this is what. Yo, check it out. This is what happens, man. When you're on the art, man. Art is very serious to me. That's the time where where it's almost like, remember the movie The Daimajin about the giant statue that came to life? You ever see that one? The Japanese one? Daimajin.
Oh, dude,
he goes like this, and his face gets serene. It'd be serene, but then he can get angry, and he goes and kills bad guys.
Yeah.
That honestly, that's what happens to me. Like soon as artwork comes in, it's like, and it's like intensity level 12, and that's all. It's like that's all I focus on is artwork. Get the artwork done. I can't hear anything else. Anything else is just like, I got to get it done. But that's what happens. I'm so hardwired into getting the work done.
Well,
and then I can play
great.
later. After I get the work done, then I can play. Then I can shoot the mess with the fellas and be like, yeah, see that? Yeah. There you go. There you go. I think
there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like you were saying about alternative, right? I mean, it's a proven record over 15, 20 years. You got to respect that.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Look at see, to me, I'm a person. I like actions. I like actions better than words. That's just where I come from. Like, to me, a person shouldn't have to really say much by their actions, because it's right there in front of you. They don't have to say anything. They just go, well, there you go. Hey, look, this is this stuff I'm doing. What are you doing? And I remember cats like that on the street. They'd be like, well, what are you doing? I'm driving a ride. What you walking? No, I'm just saying. I'm just all I say. I'm driving and you're walking, so somebody's doing something.
Skateboard.
And it's like, yeah, and it's just
I used to produce stuff like this because I worked in the bindery at World Color that used to do Marvel Comics, and we got some ribs down here in the South. This is Corky's down in Memphis.
Man,
do you like some good barbecue,
dude? You know what? And because my mother's originally from Alabama. Yeah. She's Alabama. She's Alabama. So again, a lot of stuff that I feel like internally is that Southern, even though I'm a Northerner, but she brought a lot of that Southern
mustard greens.
Do you? Oh, I love that stuff. I love it, man. But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. I'm on the health kick now a little bit. I have to because my doctors.
Mustard greens are probably pretty good if you don't.
Greens are good, but I can't be doing that red meat, man. I had to chill off the red meat.
Yeah,
no red meat, man.
Well, you know, when John Wayne passed away, he had a couple.
Oh, greens are good. Cornbread, some sweet cornbread. Some greens.
Oh,
what are you talking about? Yeah. What about some chitlins? I haven't had chitlins in years.
Oh, man. Dude, no, I can't do the chitlins.
What? What?
I ain't never got past the process on that one, man.
Chitlins, man. Come on.
How about oxtail? How about oxtail?
Yeah. Cowtail.
Oxtail, yeah. I've done that.
Not cowtail. Cow tongue.
Yeah, cow tongue.
You've had cow tongue? Yeah, I had cow tongue. I had possum. I've eaten possum. In the old days, I've eaten possum. I've eaten deer.
I haven't had possum. I've had raccoon, though.
Yeah, never had raccoon. Never had raccoon.
Save me the toothpick. Some of you will get it.
Had rabbit.
Rabbit's good. Squirrel is good.
Never had squirrel. No, never had squirrel.
No, never had squirrel. Oh man,
I had squab. I've eaten squab.
Squab.
Wow. Yeah. Squab is greasy, man.
How about muskrat?
Yeah, dude.
Muskrat?
Never had muskrat. No, I never had muskrat.
No, never.
I miss. You know what I miss? I miss catfish.
What to do, Frankie?
I miss catfish.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of muskrats. You don't see a lot of muskrats up here north. You don't see a lot of muskrats up in north. You see sewer rats.
Dude.
So what's a healthy diet for you, Frankie?
I'm mostly eating a lot of like turkey, chicken.
Okay.
A lot of greens and stuff. Like oatmeal, stuff like that. Like I feel like right now, because I got a nutritionist and I got a primary care.
But the bad thing is, if you're on a blood thinner, like my father was, you can't have the greens that you like.
Yeah.
No. I was on a blood thinner for a short time, and I did have greens. Yeah.
Really? Well, I
wasn't eating collard greens. I haven't had collard greens for a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
but I've had like lettuce. I'm saying like lettuce and stuff like that.
Salad? Poached salad?
Poached salad?
Yeah, have you had poached salad?
No, okay. I don't think so. No.
Yeah, you can find it in the ditches around here. You know, it's kind of like mustard greens or collard greens.
Well, you know what it is. You know what it is. It's like I remember years ago. I knew this artist. A close friend of mine. I knew an artist friend of mine years ago. And one of the saddest things was that unfortunately he passed away too young. And what was even messed up was his wife found him collapsed like over on his desk, and that's where he died. And that stuck with me, man. That was like, I don't ever want to go out like that. I don't want to be an artist, man, because you're not listening to your body and you're not really listening. And all of a sudden you're like sitting at your table and they're like, well, how did the guy go? Yeah, they found him with like a pint of ice cream and he was drunk, something like that, like at a table, man. It's like you don't want to go out like that, man. I'm just saying. Dude, to me, I had to start listening to my body, man, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to go out that way. I want to be a little bit more spectacular. Over your desk.
You remember the old cartoon where the guy showed up at the pearly gates and he's like, explain yourself. What happened with you? And the guy's like, well.
Before you go, Frankie, I wanna show you that just some stuff that I've been having developed by other artists.
Oh, nice, man! Nice.
Here's one of my characters. I'm one of those guys that creates a bunch of characters. Some of mine are older than others. Go. Like,
nice.
This is
look at that, man.
Yeah.
I figured Frankie like those.
That's Doc Blaylock.
That's how you're supposed to be, though. That's how it's supposed to be. Concept, man.
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah. Had all kinds of stuff developed.
Oh, nice.
In this past year.
Oh,
so
this is you can tell this is a man who loves that original artwork, man. Look at that. Those are great, man. Look at that. Wow. Nothing beats it. Nothing beats it, man.
You were talking model sheets. I've had some model sheets done up.
There you go. That's what I'm. That's.
Yeah. Now I have an original.
Right now, I'll tell anybody right now. What you just put up. We need more people to have more stuff like that. No. The actual character sheet.
Oh, the model sheet.
Yep.
So
yeah,
hold the model sheet.
Hold that up because that's so important. Because the thing about it is that if you're going to create anything, you need to have something that shows your characters, front, back, side, that kind of thing. You know, especially if you're tending to have other artists draw it. It's so important. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
so important.
Tell me, it just drives me nuts sometimes because I'll get people and they'll send me stuff and it's like action pictures. And I'm like, well, how's their feet? Do they have feet?
Here's
a
oh wow. Jeez. There's an artiste. I like that, man. Is that Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, that
yeah.
Yes. I don't know, is it like Ronald McDonald serial killer?
No. Yeah, but it might as well.
Where's the beef?
It's Ronald McDougal.
I'm a Google burger. Oh, nice, man. Good. It looks like you're putting some ink wash in there. Is that ink wash?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Nice. You're going old school.
Yeah. Some
that's old school.
Yeah. Doc Blaylock did this story for me last year, and it'll be in number 1. And then he's working on another 6-pager.
Oh, look at that, dude. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's great artwork, man. See, that's the kind of artwork, like, that's true. When I think of indie comic books, I think of underground and outlaw comics. You know, that's the kind of stuff I remember. The grungy, what I call, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but ugly art. I call it ugly art in the sense that it's bare bones artwork. You know, there's nothing. It's like someone has their own voice. Yeah, man, this is bare bones artwork where they're just putting it out there. You know, that's when I used to go to Artist Alley and you get all these zines and people are just, the work's like hardcore, man. Look at that.
The original ash cans back in the day. Dude,
oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
Love all that stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been trying. I've got so many characters, and actually a lot of these characters are created just last year in the process of working with artists, you know. But some of them go way back, you know. I've got some that go back to the early 90s and whatnot. And I'm doing an interconnected universe. I don't think anybody's trying to do that to a large extent, but I'm going to with Marvel.
All right.
You know, kind of like Marvel and DC has.
Well, like I said, man, that the time is now. Get those books out.
Absolutely.
Yes, get them out.
I think all the momentum is on our side, Frankie.
Yes, it is. There's no more excuses.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Look, there is no past, there is no future. There's only now.
Let's.
There is no try. There is only.
Let's just get this stuff done. Get that in your head. Mantra. Get it done.
Yeah.
When you start feeling that feeling when you're just like, you want to crawl underneath your desk. No.
Yeah.
Just take a moment, breathe,
pull your head out of the
mirror, and just be like, get it done. Get it done.
I can't wait to see this stuff in color and stuff.
And I got a feeling. And I think you're going to bring a sandwich now. I got a feeling he's going to pop a sandwich up now. He's bringing a lot of stuff out, man.
Hey, man, I'm ready, man. I'm chomping at the
bit, man. You messing around, man. Jeez.
I'm not messing around. You know, I'm putting my money where the mouth is. You know,
I feel almost underwhelmed, man. I'm like, what? I didn't bring nothing, man.
I just loved, you know, that was one way in developing things that came along. I had my friend of like since 1982. In graphic design, working for like Creative Multigraphics, Hydro, an art. He just retired from architectural firm last few years ago. Like I said, he's older than I am. He's 71 now, and he's working on his own project or thinking about it. A character he created back in the early 90s. Leather Angel, because we've done some stuff, but we never got anything out. In fact, I asked him, "Would you work on Devil Flyer?" And like 8 months later, after pitching him every idea under the sun, sci-fi, monster, all kinds of stuff, no. I said, well, would you still, it occurred to me, would you still do Devil Flyer? Okay. So I always wanted to do the Bog character, the big,
go.
swamp-like character. And I am doing that, but that was the last one I added to my book as far as backup stories, So 64 pages, launches at the end of the month. I'm excited about it.
There you go. There you go.
That's
the thing. I think that's the final message on this whole thing is that it does. I'm telling you, if you just sit there, if you just draw, like I tell artists all the time, post your stuff, post your artwork. And when I say artwork, please post finished artwork. Don't just show like the in between, because again, that doesn't show anything. Like if you just show like a little piece concept thing, then that really doesn't show anybody anything. That doesn't show like the end game. Like what's the end game? You should be showing what's going to be the final product. So show your final product. But the thing is that you got to show something. There's got to come a point where you got to get off the pot and you got to do it, man. Because what's going to happen?
Got a lot of stoners out there, brother. You can talk
about. I've heard so many people talk about their comic book stuff, and it's just comic book. 1 year goes by, another same thing, and that's breath of time. How many other people have gotten their comic books out?
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. I go in the breath of time. How many other people have gotten their books out? Because you're still sitting there.
Shadowhawk said that to me. He's been an encouragement. He was like, "Hey, dude, you're proven. You got a book out. You fulfilled."
Yeah,
that says a lot to people.
You're already published. You're out
and the thing, and my feeling is that if you can keep going, keeping that consistency going, because honestly, I think that what knocked a lot of stuff down. What knocked a lot of stuff down was when we started seeing, like, first it was a 12 issue, and then it was 6 issues, then it was 4 issues, and that's all people are doing. And now it's like, are we ever going to get back to the point where it's going to just be a consistent run of books? Like, is anyone to try to do 20 or 25 or 50 or whatever? Are we going to see that sense of longevity where someone just says, "Okay,
it's the Todd McFarlane thing, right?" They said, like, if the big two are going to give it to me, I'll take it, because he's the longest continuing with Spawn comic book out there. And he's still at a good price point at $3.
Since you bring it up, Frankie, shout out to I believe it's Justin, Professor Murph, War Party creator and artist.
All right.
He's planning on making it ongoing until he fucking dies in his chair. So
all right. I hear you, but see, that's what I'm talking about. Like we have to start bringing that kind of mentality of consistency, because that's honestly how comic books became so addictive to many of us during the generations, was that it was an ongoing experience. It wasn't just like you got 4 books and then you were like, okay, I'm done. It was like, no, I'm on issue 25 now. I'm on issue 25. But it's about being consistent. It's about making sure that because
continuity.
Because the thing about people today, here's the reality of people today. People will step away from stuff. If you give people enough span of time, like say, like if you put your book out, it's every like 1 year. Eventually, you're gonna start losing some folks, man. That's just inevitable. People are gonna be like, "Well, my attention's off to something else." I'm gonna go to the people who have already in the breath of 1 year, they've already put out 5 or 6 books. And yet you're still waiting on your one. You said you start doing the math. There's only so much loyalty you can ask from the customer. And I'm definitely, as somebody who worked in advertising, that's the last thing you want to do is start looking at the customer saying, "What are you going to do for me?" You're putting your product out there. You put your product out there.
Was it to you? You done a 0 issue and a 1 before you really launched. Did you have a prior campaign?
Let's just say this. Let's just say this. I'm already working on issue 6.
Okay,
so what we did was we strategized. What we did, which seems like a foreign thing, is we actually sat down and talked about it and strategized and said, okay, the way we're going to put this out is this. Try to get a sort of plan on how we're going to approach this. And then we were like, okay, now we know how we're going to lay this out. So that once we start putting things out, putting more issues out, we'll give ourselves a nice production breathing space so that we're never backlogged.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There should never ever come a point where you start rushing your comic. Like it's like, oh man, okay, I gotta get my comic book out. And so well, guess what? Because you rushed your comic book, your artwork looks like crap. Your story is horrible. Never rush. That's the first rule of thumb in production, in films, TV, animation. No one ever rushes production time. You establish a viable production time. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months. Hell, it can be a year.
That's
but
been my most valuable thing is time. You know, time to think over story concepts, over stories, writing time. I mean, because I'm doing all the writing and on a variety of different stories. Plus, I'm all interconnecting these stories where I'm not trying to make it too complicated, but and in fact, I have a built-in what I wanted to say with coloring, just figuring that out. It's like, man, I haven't got the funds to do a fully colored comic. So how do I do this? So all most of my stories are told in the past. They're going to be done in sepia tone. If it's set in the present, it'll be full color. If it's set in the future, it'll be black and white. So you'll know by the absence of color or by color what time period the stories are in. And that was a creative way around, you know, how do I afford color without just it being everything black and white.
Exactly. You know? So anyway, fellas, I'm sorry, man.
Hey,
but I gotta wrap it up, man. It's because the thing is, I gotta prepare for the auction tonight.
You do.
There's gonna be an alternative.
I know, bro.
There's gonna be an alternative auction tonight. I'm gonna be on there. Frankie. So I just gotta wrap up. But anyway, I'm so grateful that you guys decided to talk to me and listen to my madness. To the chat, thank you so much for just hanging in there. And the campaign's going on right now. So you know, if you like what I said, you like what Matthew said in the video, then go on over there. If you happen to like kaijus and you like robots and stuff, then by all means, man, you know, join, become a writer. We want more writers. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on here.
Thank you.
For Frankie, thanks for being here,
and
brother.
Definitely, I don't mind coming on.
Maybe next time you can bring Matt with you.
Yeah, I'll talk to Matt. Yeah, sure, not a problem, man.
Yeah.
All
right. Now, can I get out of here?
Well,
yeah. Go on, man.
Frankie.
Take care.
Use the restroom.
Thank you, Frankie.
Eat something.
Take care. Yeah.
Live your life. Do the work. Do it.
Right on. Take care.
Wow.
Great bro.
Time.
That was amazing.
Yeah. That's great. Squeeze.
All right, everybody. We've been going
15 minutes late. So we got, you know, we got 10 minutes shot. We got 2 hours and 50 minutes out of him, basically.
All right. Well, we've been going for a long time. You ready for a break, Rick? I'm ready to say hello.
No, man. You old man or what?
We'll
take a break. Say good night, Gracie.
Hello. Thanks for being there. Hope you enjoyed having Frankie. I love this guy.
Such a piker.